One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
That, my friends, is known forever as the Miracle on Ice. February 22nd, 1980. That would make that 44 going on 45. 45 years ago, come February 22nd. I don't think there's any accident in anything that President Trump does. We are coming up on the 45th anniversary of the Miracle on Ice. And as you heard, the Al Michaels, the call that has become famous. And the words he said, "Do you believe?" That was the thing, the thumbnail I put up. Do you believe in miracles? Interesting. Do you believe in miracles? The Miracle on Ice, that was the United States Olympic hockey team beating at what that time was the behemoth, the massive USSR hockey. They were the best in the world. We had little, if any, chance. Back then, professionals couldn't play in the Olympics. So we were sending college kids, amateurs, to go play against this amazing team, the complete underdog, the underdog who came back and broke all kinds of ideas and stigmas, and they beat the Russians. I looked down and I put up a poll, and I said, how many of you remember this? I guess you have to be a boomer, because it's 45 years ago. And 64% of you said yes. 35% of you in the chat right now said, I have no idea what the hell the Miracle on Ice is. And why, in God's good name, would President Trump be honoring the Olympic hockey team from 1980 right now? With everything going on in the world, I'm sure many of us woke up in this morning and went, what in the hell is he doing? Why is he honoring a hockey team from 45 years ago? I did it myself. And I thought to myself, okay, self, you know what this guy does. Take a step back. Take a step back and look at what's happening and why this would be going on at this time. One, we know he loves sports, so that's right up his alley. And I think number two, there's a lot of, some of you guys might call me crazy, but I think and we'll hear when he comes up, I think there'll be a lot of communication comms that you're going to be seeing in this ceremony and what he's saying. I can tell you this, I'm almost there. I am almost there right now in saying everything we're seeing politically is a setup. I'm not quite ready. I don't want anybody to say Barry said it's a setup. I'm almost. I'll let you know after I hear what he has to say whether that indeed, to me, is the case. Just too many things happening. The other night when he came out and he said, I think when you see the real polls come out, you're going to be surprised. I think this man is playing things very close to the chest. I think there are too many things happening right now that I'm going to be showing you that lead me to believe everything we're seeing is a complete charade. The influencers screaming, the judges messing up and being rogue. And if you've been paying attention over the last 24 hours, a lot of stuff is bubbling up that the media doesn't want to talk about. The media, you can tell, quickly pivoted. Oh, there's pictures of Trump at an Epstein party. Really? Is that where you're going? I think the entire thing with Candace and Erica Kirk is a ruse. I think there's people who understand that, that voting block of young voters needs to be corralled and moved a certain place. And I think there's an undue influence that will be exposed. I had somebody text me today and it made me think. They said, it would be perfect to slide in and take the helm with Erica. And I thought, who? Barron Trump. And I went, no, there's no way. He's in college. He's in college. But no, he doesn't have the ability to get out on the campaign trail and speak at these events. You don't think he could have been training behind the scenes? Oh. Interesting. I'll tell you, it would blow up. I tell you, it would blow everything out of the water, and we would know exactly what direction Turning Point was taken. Here's somebody who doesn't need the money, doesn't need the prestige. He's not going to be bought. He's in college. He's that age. Don't know. But when I saw the text, I went, okay, I don't know what's happening. I don't think any of us do. And at this point, anything is on board. I think after the first of the year, I firmly believe after the first of the year, things are going to change drastically on a number of different fronts. I personally am so sick and tired of the naysayers. I am so absolutely disgusted with people grifting just to try and get clicks, likes, and views. Especially those two pollsters on X. How do you want to discount your polls? You want to make sure everybody knows your polls are full of crap? Become anti-Trump. Become biased in your data. Why would I trust any poll by any person who posts every single time, Trump's bad, Trump's bad, Trump's bad, Trump's bad? So you're telling me your polls cannot be unbiased. You are definitely putting your finger on the button. There's no way you could say everything you do 25 or 50 times a day and then go ahead and create a poll saying he's doing well. You have to have your own confirmation bias for the people who are listening to your crap. You don't want people thinking something is different. So I'm going to realign come the first of the year, and my realignment come the first of the year is to be even more on the Trump train. Like, Barry, how the hell can you do that? I mean, you're just doing everything Trump. I'm even more. There's so many news stories that you'll never hear about because the media won't say it. There's so many news stories, positive stories, that you'll never hear about because X is inundated with the cesspool of grift. I don't care. I don't need the clicks and likes. It doesn't matter to me. We're doing well. I've got my real estate. We're doing different things. And it doesn't, I've said it to you many times. If tomorrow YouTube said, click, you're done. All right, Robin, I don't need to go spend 5 hours a day on camera. I can just, let's buy more property. It would be easy. In fact, we're already set up for that. I think you'd have to understand that you have to have a backup plan. Or in this case, not a backup, but a parallel plan, things working at the same time. I'm going to publicly thank Beth. Beth had to go meet some contractors at one of the properties today. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're doing a bunch of different things. And digging into some AI stuff myself. Just to let you know, coming up next week, where some people are going to be pulling back, I'm going to be leaning in. On Monday, we're doing a prayer meeting early Monday. I'll be posting that. And then Monday afternoon show, I've got Kevin Demerit from Lear Capital on. You guys always love to hear what he has to say. You have plenty of questions. Go ahead and put some of the questions in the chat, and we'll go ahead and look at them because what's going on with silver and gold right now is crazy. And at this point, you need to get all the information that you can so that you can make your own decisions. I mean, some people are forecasting, and I'm going to ask them, some people are forecasting silver to be $200 and $300 an ounce next year. I'm like, are you serious? I mean, silver goes to $200 or $300 an ounce. Robin and I might be broadcasting from the French Riviera. Good gosh, could not even imagine that. Could not even imagine that. So we're excited. I hope you're excited. And also on Monday, it happened yesterday where we drew the fishing trip winner. And no shenanigans. I clicked the button that said pick the winner randomly. And the person that won was from Margate, Florida, which is 2 or 3 towns south of where I am. Maybe 4 towns. Right here. So I said yesterday on air, I said, if that person confirms that it's not a phone number they used to have, but they actually live in like Boston, which we're still waiting to hear. But at this point, it looks like this person lives here right outside of Fort Lauderdale. So Monday, we may be picking another winner. And with understanding of that, and I'm pretty sure, I'm like 95% sure, Ashley's been in contact with them, you need to go ahead and sign up. So before Trump comes on, let me go ahead and show you that.
Hey everybody, Barry has a couple things to let you know about. Fanfare is giving away a free fishing trip. We're going to fly you and a guest down to South Florida for a 3-day, 2-night getaway. You'll go on a deep-sea fishing trip with Robin. And Barry and Robin will take you and your guest out to dinner. To enter to win, go to fanfareshop.org/fishing. It's easy and it's free to enter. Second, if you'd like to join our private group on X, go to fanfareshop.org/group and join 18,000 fellow patriots. It's a safe space for patriots as it's curated and moderated. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/group. One more thing, if you'd like to be a part of the show, submit a 60-second video by going to fanfareshop.org/submit video. Last, but certainly not least, if you'd like to request a free Bible, please go to fanfareshop.org/Bible. We have a long list, but we're getting them out as soon as we can. Again, that's fanfareshop.org/Bible. Thanks for being a part of the Fanfare family. Now back to the show.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so we've got a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. I wanted to wait before I got into it, but I want to jump into it. I've got my monitors up so I can see if President Trump comes on. But I want to go ahead and go with this. Yesterday, as you know, President Trump pardoned Tina Peters. This was the post that he put up saying, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to pardon Tina Peters. And here it was. Tina is sitting in a Colorado prison for the crime of demanding honest elections. Today I'm granting Tina a full pardon for attempts to expose voter fraud in the rigged 2020 presidential election. Now, those of you, I said yesterday, I don't know what that does. I'm not really sure if that has any teeth. I don't think that dog barks. It definitely doesn't hunt, because she was convicted of a state crime in Colorado. So it's ceremonial, but it doesn't seem to do anything for Tina Peters. It seems as though Tina Peters is going to stay in jail, and they are going to fight to keep her in jail. It's crazy, but that's exactly what they intend on doing. So I want to show you a couple things in regards to that, because Tina Peters and her attorney, who we've had here on the show, is Peter Tickton. So I want you to hear first from the Attorney General in Colorado.
Question for you here. Practically speaking, what happens if representatives of Tina Peters and or the president show up at the state prison in Pueblo tonight or tomorrow and say Tina Peters is coming with us? Will she be released by the state of Colorado while this plays out?
No, there's no legal authority for any federal government action to take a prisoner who's in state custody, lawfully having been tried, convicted, and sentenced. This is an important principle of our Constitution. And everyone.
I have two words for him: Maryland man. You see, judges have found that even though he was in custody, this time federally, that they could go in and release him even though he has a standing deportation order. This woman is sick. She could die, and they still have her basically in solitary confinement. For what reason? She's not going to look to go out and kill people or maim people or do bad things to women or commit, $50 billion in fraud, like the ones you have set loose in this country. But no, they're not giving an inch on this woman. They want to set an example with her. They want her to die in prison. It's so evil, I cannot even conceptualize what they have done. At her age and with her health, given what you've even convicted her of, there is no reason why she should be in jail. The pardon that President Trump gave her wasn't ceremonial. There is a strategy, a big strategy that's coming behind it.
Who says they care about the rule of law, about public safety, and our Constitution needs to care about this issue. Ben Franklin said when he left the Constitutional Convention, we have a republic as long as we can keep it. This is one of those moments.
What is the public safety issue with letting a grandma whose crime was talking about an election and having information that she felt showed that there was a problem with the vote counting? She didn't do anything. She had an opinion. She had documentation. She wanted to talk about it. And you threw her in jail, convicted her, and then put her in prison. Basically threw her into the Chateau d'If. Go away forever. We never want to hear from you again. And they are standing steadfast in not wanting this woman out whatsoever. Well, you guys have heard me talk about the Streisand effect before. At this point, you have to be wondering, what exactly is this woman in jail for? And why are you treating her like this?
Attorney General Phil Weiser, thank you very much for your time. We'll talk again soon.
Has that ever been adjudicated at the Supreme Court? Your theory of this case, that he can actually pardon at the state level, has that ever been adjudicated at the Supreme Court?
It's never been adjudicated anywhere. It's never been
first
a court
step,
action on any level.
Peter, I just want to, because you're close. I just want to make sure. Step one is the president to pardon Tina Peters, right? To give her a pardon. That
Right.
is the thing that sets everything else in motion?
Right. Then we give that to the Department of Corrections and say release her immediately. They say either yes or they say no. They say yes, well, we don't have a problem anymore. They say no, then I jump into federal court and I basically get an order from the judge that says release him, or the judge says, nah, I don't think so.
Hang on. You don't go to the Bureau of Prisons. You go to the Department of Corrections in Colorado, and you've got a pardon letter from the President of these United States, the Chief Magistrate, and the Chief Law Enforcement Officer. You present it to the Department of Corrections and Governor Polis. And
so this interview that he was doing with Peter Tickton was some time ago. It wasn't yesterday. So that tells you the strategy has been put in place already. They knew going into yesterday, okay, here's what our plan is. Our plan is we will pardon her. And once we pardon her, we are not going to go to the governor's office. We are not going to go to the state's attorney or the attorney general. We're going to go right to the prison and say, I've got a pardon, and you've got a person in prison who's subject to this pardon, and you need to let her out. At this point, they have already told, I'm pretty sure, anybody comes knocking on the door, tell them to go pound sand. They're expecting that. Because when they do that, as Peter is going to say, when they do that part and say, yep, nope, we're not going to do it, that's going to trigger the rest of this.
And they either release her or they say, Tickton, that pardon doesn't mean anything here in Colorado because we're a state. That's a federal pardon. Then what?
Then I jump into court, and then I ask a judge, and the judge says yay or nay. And then no matter what the judge says, we go to the Court of Appeals, and no matter what the Court of Appeals says, it's going to be in the lap of the Supreme Court of the United States.
Because whoever loses, if Colorado loses, they'll go. If you lose, you'll go. So it's got to go all the way up to the Supreme Court, correct?
It's got to go all the way.
All right, so understand the strategy here is everybody knows the initial judge's ruling will be no. And then when it goes to the appellate court, it doesn't really matter who wins, whether Tickton wins or if the state wins, because the state is going to fight this all the way, which is now going to have eyeballs. Everybody in America is like, why are you spending all this money to keep this woman in jail? What are you afraid of? Well, just by doing that, you can see what they're afraid of. They're afraid that this information is going to come out. And it's going to come out right after the first of the year. God forbid something happens to her before then, but that's what's going to happen. All right, they got the pardon. Maybe today, maybe Monday, they walk in and say, let her go. At that point, the jail's going to say, no, I can't do it. Then Peter's going to go to the local court, district court. He's going to get turned down, obviously. Then he's going to go to the appellate court. We don't know what'll happen, but if he wins, she's not getting out. If he wins, they're going to sue and want to go to the Supreme Court. And all of this is going to be highly visible, and we're all going to be seeing what's happening. That they're spending all this money to keep a grandmother in jail. For what? Now understand also, as this thing traverses into upper level courts, there's going to be a lot of evidence that's going to come out. Here's why she's in jail. Here's what she should have, she did. We think she should stay in jail forever. We think she should take to the gallows. All this stuff is going to come out, which is going to cause a big communication issue for the Democrats coming in January. They're going to have to explain, well, if voter fraud, the 2020 election is going to be front and center come 2020.
And there we've got a majority that are fundamentalists.
I tell you, Tina Peters is a really good woman. I know her personally. I consider her a friend. Her son died in the line of duty, active duty, Navy SEAL, I believe he was. And to throw her behind bars, the same corrupt people in Colorado who were behind the election malfeasance. And when she was trying to say, we're going to collect the evidence and make sure that we are responsible to the voters and the taxpayers, they throw her in jail for that, in prison for that.
See, the Democrats didn't have any choice. When all this stuff happened in 2020, they didn't want anybody taking a deep look at things. And so they had to put her in jail. They had to get rid of Carrie Lake. They had to get rid of Trump. They had to do everything possible to bury this entire story. I'm just checking. Oh, here, they're talking about her right now. Hold on, let me just jump to this. Oh, no, that's not him. But all of this stuff has to happen in order for the information to now get out there. The information has to get out in front of everybody. There's probably people here who don't even remember all the stuff she was looking at in 2020. And so now this is going to expose all of this. So when you're looking at pollsters saying you can't win and this and everything, they don't even know what Trump has in store for 2020. All of this is now going to be front page news all over again.
Woman who's got health problems, and I'm afraid if we don't get her out, that she'll die behind bars. This is an unfair sentence. It's ridiculous. Same thing. They threw the book at her for ridiculous non-crime. The same thing they did with the J6ers. And, come full circle, one of the judges who handled so many of the J6 cases, you might remember him. He was the judge who fell asleep during their trials. And then when he woke up, threw the book at these J6ers who didn't do anything wrong except protest, peacefully. And so I have that same judge over all the cases that have been lodged against our agency. When they get somebody in an agency and we are starting to clean things up, that's when the deep state starts throwing out malicious lawsuits. We've got 5 or 6 malicious lawsuits. They want to tie us up in court. They want to do this with all the other agencies as well. Anywhere where they're bringing reform, they want to get them tied up, tangled up in court with judges who, like mine, actually threw the book at these J6ers for simply protesting at the Capitol.
So there's so many people who are like, it's old news. Let's not talk about that. We don't need to resurrect 2020. Everybody wishes 2020 would just go away. And they thought it pretty much had gone away. And now, yesterday, President Trump pardons Tina Peters. He's not going to get her out of jail. It's the initial salvo. It's the first launch of the rocket to let them know, it's coming, don't you? Well, if you didn't, now you do. Now all of this is going to start all over again. Peter Tickton actually but he posted a statement. I want you to see this statement. It's a full statement from attorney Peter Tickton following Trump's pardon of Tina Peters. It says, my team, John Case, Patrick McSweeney, Robert Sinker, Stephanie Lambert, Tina herself, and I are grateful beyond words to President Trump for his courage and for once again doing what is right. He has always been true to his beliefs and continues to fight against injustice. God bless our president. Governor Paulus, the governor of Colorado, Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, wait till you hear some of the stuff about her. She's been so terrified, she even stopped posting on X. She's just tried to crawl under a rock, claiming that Tina Peters belongs in prison. However, she is actually a political prisoner. Why else would a 70-year-old lady convicted for victimless white-collar crimes be held in the maximum security unit of a prison where she has the smallest cell of about 7 square feet for her cellmate and her next to their beds? Maximum security. They put this 70-year-old woman in maximum security as though she had been doing some sort of, murder or something. We've continued. In fact, since midday on Monday, she has been in the hole. Solitary confinement is such a cruel punishment that it causes the most extreme monsters to behave themselves and comply with the rules. Yet she has been in solitary confinement, not for doing anything wrong, but just for, quote, her perceived protection. Why does she need protection? Why do you have this 70-year-old woman in solitary confinement? How many people outside of true Trump supporters even know that this woman is being kept like the Count of Monte Cristo? The governor said that he will abide by the judgment of the courts. However, the process of litigation takes time, and Tina Peters needs to be released while the legal issues are being resolved. I want to stop there for a second. If you're so certain that she belongs there, and now she has a pardon, what damage would it do to say we will put her outside pending the resolution of this case? Why is there no means, nothing at all that she could do to be released while her appeal and everything else is happening? Why do you want this woman in jail in solitary confinement? There's only one reason: to shut her up. So you've got a 70-year-old woman who's not healthy being kept in solitary friggin' confinement, where she probably can't see the sun once a week or whatever, for the sole reason that, she can't talk. I mean, Charles Manson used to be on Geraldo's show every year. Tina Peters can't be anywhere. They threw the woman in solitary confinement and then took the key and tossed it. Unbelievable. The governor has no way to know which way the courts will decide the issue of whether President Trump has the right to pardon prisoners who were convicted of state offenses. This is very interesting in its own situation. Does the pardon power of the President of the United States, whoever he may be, is it confined just to federal offenses? We all heard it was. We all just assumed that, only federal offenses can a president pardon. And as Peter said, and I didn't know until he said it, and I looked it up, it's never been challenged. It's never been brought to the Supreme Court. Everybody just assumed, hey, it happened in a state, excuse me, so she should stay in jail. Presidential pardons don't affect state convictions, which I don't understand why they wouldn't. But nonetheless, as such, he has no right to hold her. It is not an option for him to hold someone in prison when he cannot know if she should be released or held. That issue must always be determined in favor of the individual who is incarcerated. So basically, just like they're doing with the Maryland man. You have to wonder at this point, was this entire thing with the Maryland man a trap door for the Democrats? Oh, we got to release him, even though he's been convicted, and even though he's been given a deportation order, even though the court said he's got to go. But in the interim right now, we have to let him out, right? Moves are being made that we don't know about. There are lines being drawn in terms of connecting of the dots. We have no idea. And so if anybody says, no, that could have been the reason why Maryland man, I don't know. I have no idea what the hell is going on at this point. Nobody does. He has no right to keep a person because she may belong there. If he does, he's at very least imprisoning a pardoned lady, which has serious legal ramifications and liability. So what he's saying there is, be ready, because if the Supreme Court says you can't hold her, they're going to sue the pants off of Colorado. The fact of the matter is that those in power, such as Paulus and Griswold, become lulled in their echo chambers to be blind to the fact that their situation is changing. Today, these folks are in charge, but tomorrow they are going to be held accountable. This is especially true for Jenna Griswold, who is the one who wiped and rewrote the hard drives of the Dominion hard drives when she had the trusted build installed. All right, so now they're bringing out more stuff back into the open. Many of you may not understand or know what Jenna Griswold did, but he's letting everybody know we're about to tell the world what this Secretary of State did. She was shielded, she was protected, and they're going to bring it and bust it wide open. And if anything, it's going to cause people to look. Like, what did she do? Yeah, you got it. She wiped the flipping hard drives of the Dominion machine. Instead of fighting to have Tina in prison, she should realize that her time is limited before she may be in handcuffs herself. After all, her deletion of the hard drives was a violation of federal law. Okay, ding, 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 ding. You see, Biden was never going to charge this woman. Go ahead, put her in jail, put her under the jail, and don't worry about it. We got your back. And nothing ever happened to Jenna Griswold. So she threw Tina, the only person who was that she could find that had the information, threw her into jail, wiped the hard drives, and was never prosecuted, or even investigated. Merrick Garland, Kamala, Joe, no big deal. And so right now, they're letting her know in no uncertain terms, we're coming for you. I don't know how they're going to do this, but they're going to try. After all, her deletion of the hard drives was a violation of federal law. Federal. It is so ironic when the one who destroyed evidence is taking a harsh position that the one who is preserving the evidence must remain in prison. If they have any smarts at all, they would stop the silly game of wrongfully imprisoning an innocent woman for whom half of this country are celebrating the pardon of President Trump granted. So he's basically saying, we're about to, and I don't know what he knows, but we're going to come after you. And what I think we're going to see, because I think Jenna Griswold is so far down on the ladder, she's not going to be able to withstand the scrutiny and pressure of a federal investigation. Not mentally, not financially. And so they're about to turn things on people in 2026. Everybody who says Pam Bondi hasn't been doing anything, you're looking at what Pam Bondi did. I find it very interesting. I want you to pay attention to something. I don't know if a couple of you guys noticed it, because there's no way an ordinary person could do this. Not me, not you. Not without an approval and an okay to do so. So I want you to look at this and tell me what you notice right there. Peter Tickton put out a statement from the Tickton Law Group with the White House logo. And I saw this and I was stunned. I'm like, you're a lawyer. You know better than to do that. And you did that? Wow. Wow. So I think some things are about to happen. The governor of Colorado posted this. This is Governor Jared Polis. Tina Peters was convicted by a jury of her peers, prosecuted by a Republican district attorney, and found guilty of violating Colorado state laws, including criminal impersonation. No president has jurisdiction over state law, nor the power to pardon a person for state convictions. This is a matter for the courts to decide, and we will abide by court orders. So he put that in writing. Hey, if the court says we got to let her out, we'll let her out. But we haven't had any court that says that. So Peter now is going to take this into court in 2026, and that's where we're going to be with this case. Whether anything happens with it, I don't know. But we shall indeed see. That's huge. That's huge, and it's going to bring it to the forefront all over again. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know. In fact, behind the scenes, right now it's 3:39. President Trump was supposed to be on at 3 o'clock. Obviously, he's not here, so I'll continue. But let me take some comments as to what you guys think is going on with this case, because it's absolutely nuts. And also, I wanted to show you this one. Peter Kolbeck, I think he's a reporter out there. Yeah, he's a reporter and author. Colorado Secretary of State Jenna Griswold was quick to respond to President Trump's pardon of Tina Peters. Any doubt as to the importance of the machines to the Dems seeking to manipulate election results? They rigged the Colorado trial to put Tina away in prison for 9 years because she did her duty to preserve election records while Jenna was wiping them. Her actions led to this discovery of gross negligence and fraud, which have now been corroborated by Venezuelan whistleblowers. I don't know if you could write a story like this if you came up with it. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to involve Maduro, and it's all coming together, which is why people are freaking out. Huge puzzle is being, it's insane. Time to have a frank national discussion as to who is truly violating election law and why. preferably after U.S. Marshals escort Tina back into freedom she rightly deserves. This was the release that Jenna Griswold put out there. The Tina Peters was convicted, almost the exact same words as the governor. Tina Peters was convicted by a jury of her peers. Trump has no constitutional authority to pardon her. His assault is not just on our democracy, but our states' rights and the American Constitution. So we got a battle royale brewing, and this battle royale is obviously going to blow things out of the entire thing that's been going on with the election. We are now getting ready to go into 2026. The information that the Trump administration has, the information that the Ticton Group has, that they've compiled in the last 6 years, could completely blow this thing wide open. And I'm here for it. I can't wait. Can't wait. All right, so that's what I wanted to share with you about Tina Peters. Got a whole bunch more. Let me check the video. And nope, President Trump has not even walked out as of yet. So, mob rule is not justice. Mike Lindell had Dr. Frank on to prove the fraud, and Tina was one of many witnesses. People do not get the depth of the deep state and what has been going on for years. It's like the worst fiction ever to be written. And understand that. So if you understand that, like you just said, that this is just some crazy clandestine stuff that's happening, you have to sit back and say, I don't know. And I wouldn't be someone out there just saying, oh, yeah, Trump sucks, you're going to lose the midterms, because that could be nothing more than a ploy to discourage you. There's too many people out there going, Bondi sucks, and Kash Patel sucks, and Dan Bongino's a fraud, and everybody's a fraud. The entire administration is completely toast. All of them. Which, by the way, Tulsi Gabbard, who I mentioned yesterday, showed up on television this morning. So, I don't even know anymore. Yes, prayers for this poor lady. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everyone, where was that? Everyone who is pardoned was convicted by a jury of their peers. Am I missing something? When you're convicted by a jury of your peers, what does that actually mean? Because yes, you're missing something. You see, if you're convicted in a court in, Georgia, and they find out that you didn't allow certain evidence, if they find out that the judge wouldn't let your attorneys cross-examine or do certain things, then the jury doesn't know that. When you're convicted, let me think, of a crime up in New York, and they only let you show certain things, and they let the prosecution show whatever they want, but then tell you, nope, you can't question this person. The jury only knows what they see. The term jury of their peers does not refer to people who have an ideological bias against Donald Trump. I would venture to say you can't find a jury of your peers in Washington if you're conservative. I don't think you could find a jury of your peers in most big blue cities if you're a conservative. I would walk out if I was being tried or something. I would look at the jury and see some blue hairs and some nose rings and some, funny looking people. And I'm like, I'm toast. I am absolutely toast here. So how do you combat that? How do you combat the stacking of juries, the stacking and misconduct of judges on a local level? You're seeing it right now. The president having the ability to go in and pardon somebody or do a judicial review federally. And what you're seeing by that, Danae, you are seeing absolutely how the shift is happening and how we're going to have to do things differently moving forward. We are only a republic if we're allowed to be a republic. I'm going to show you some of that information real soon here when I start talking about what's going on in Minnesota. you have to understand, when you hear the term jury of your peers, you appear to have a complexion like mine, maybe a little bit darker, and you have braids in your hair. You understand, if you walked into certain courtrooms in certain areas of this country looking like that, you are not going to be judged a certain way, unfortunately. There are going to be people, as soon as they see you, going to look at you a certain way. I remember a long time ago, a guy accused me of beating on him, and I was like, hey, he threw the first punch. I walked in, and then he walked in, and he was like 190 pounds, and he looked at me, and like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Luckily, we had video. Otherwise, like, hey, he swung first, and then he got what he got. But if I didn't have that video from somebody, I didn't have a camera, but somebody took a video of a guy swinging at me, and he got what he got. But they looked right at me, immediately went, oh, no, you could have walked away. You didn't have to pummel him. But he swung at me. Oh, no, you still had the chance to walk away. And then the video showed, otherwise. But crazy. Let's see, and for the record, that's wrong, but Barry's correct. Yeah, and I wasn't endorsing how people would look at you. I'm just telling you, there are places in this country, if a black woman with braids walked into a court, they automatically have your attorney's going to have a hard time convincing them that you're not a criminal. So don't go by that thing. I mean, there are too many historic cases where people were just judged beforehand. Yeah, jury of your peers is effing broad, absolutely. What do we got here? Jury of your peers is so effing broad, it's BS. Yeah. What else we got? And then people in Minnesota have lost their minds. Well, I'm going to talk to you about them. I'm going to talk to you about these people in Minnesota. I didn't want to go too far in case President Trump came in, because this story about Minnesota is going to take us some time. It's going to take us a little bit of time. So I'm going to go with it. And I'm going to hope when he comes out and he breaks us up, that you guys remember what we talked about at that time. Because this stuff in Minnesota is going to take you a little bit of understanding and looking at a lot of different things before you realize, we're this close. We're this close from this country being overrun. Before I go into that, I want to close the Tina Peters story. The Tina Peters story is very important to many of us because it shows we have an honest judicial system. Let the evidence come out. Don't stop hers. Don't let her attorneys have to, overcome such egregious decisions. Why did she wipe the hard drive? Why did she do that? She doesn't even disavow that she did it. But because nobody ever came after her, she never talked about it. So there's a person, I don't know, man or woman, that I follow. I'm gonna show you something. Excuse me. Understand what President Trump is doing. He is putting a ton of pressure on the state of Colorado. This is federalism at play. The state of Colorado, unfortunately, holds a lot of power in this situation. President Trump is faced with a dilemma. I'll say huge dilemma. Does he send in the U.S. Marshals to secure her for her election fraud testimony, re the 2020 election fraud? So what he's saying there is, if they're going to go out in January and say, we're going to go after election fraud, we need Tina Peters as a witness. Now, the state can't stop him. Now the state must turn over this witness who's involved in a federal case. So will he do that? I'm not sure. This is not an easy situation. Peter Ticton moved the goalpost, but trust me, this is a major conflict between federalism and state rights. I think President Trump will win this in the end. Ticton is the right man for the job. Pray for Tina and pray for President Trump. He is really trying. Pray for the whole country. I think 2026 is going to see us torn apart. because in order to fix what needs to be fixed, we're going to see a lot of people do a lot of crazy things in public. We already saw what they tried in July 13th. It's going to break apart because this deep state is not going to go quietly. And if anything shows you that, you understand what I showed you yesterday when it showed how many people that they've let into this country unvetted. We haven't even seen Venezuela's response yet. And when I was talking to Alpha Warrior yesterday, it was very interesting. He says if he doesn't see a response from Maduro very quickly, then that's even more worrisome. You just commandeered $170 million of oil or whatever it was, and you're coming out publicly saying you're going to take more ships. And we know about the whole Monroe Doctrine. And if we know it, the bad guys know it. And the bad guys are not going to go quietly into the night. They've worked too hard to steal America. They've worked too hard to get to the position where we are but hamsters on a treadmill feeding them money. They're rewarding the bad guys. They are doing everything they can to stop us. When I was telling you about silver and gold and some of the other things that are happening, go look at what these other countries are going to be doing or actually are implementing. Look at the moves they're making financially, specifically to hurt America. How they're going to work harder to try and devalue the dollar, which is going to cause these other assets, gold, silver, platinum, to go crazy. There's only so many seats at the table. And when that music stops, when certain people don't have those seats at the table, it is going to be hell to pay in this country. And that's why one of the reasons I talk to you guys so much about prosperity is because I don't know how else to get you prepared. I don't know how else to tell you crazy times are coming. There's a reason why gold looked like that yesterday. There's a reason why silver looked like that yesterday. There's a reason why China is doing what they're doing in the metals market. I'm not talking about a commercial here. I'm telling you self-preservation. Start doing your research and not listening to the idiots on X, because I think the idiots on X are doing what they're being told to do. Keep people from noticing what's happening. Talk about Candace and this and the other thing and polls. And I'm like, are you not seeing what's happening? Are you not seeing what India did in the silver market yesterday? If I'm telling you something you don't know, maybe you might want to look it up. Maybe you want to look up what the Federal Reserve did with quantitative easing. Do you know what QE is? Look up QE. Find out what QE is going to do to the dollars that you have in the bank. Nobody's talking about this stuff because they don't want you to know. I get bad emails because, Barry, why are you telling people this? Well, I'm trying to ring an alarm. I'm trying to let people know that there are certain people making moves so that they are prepared and protected with what may be coming. Understand, if President Trump is successful in doing all the things that he wants to do militarily, financially, legally, oh, hell's going to explode. Just be ready. I'll be right back.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so you know right now we've got 2 weeks left before Christmas, just 2 weeks. And my friends and partners here at Patriot Addict have an amazing offer for you guys. They're keep doing it, but this one might be the final, actually will be the final offer for 2025. It's probably one of their best offers as well. It's called the Berry Pack. And what is the Berry Pack? The Berry Pack is, you get this, the President Donald Trump blanket. Yeah, it's huge, it's warm, it's actually too warm for us here in Florida, but once in a while when it gets cold, we can use this blanket. So you got that. So you get the blanket. You also get the flag. And it says, it's a big giant flag, which looks perfect when you're hanging it outside or off of your boat. It's the President Trump flag. So you get that, right? So you get 2 things there. Because they say it's a berry pack. It's not just one thing. You also get the Trump red knife. Trump red knife, I've shown it to you many times. You guys understand it. Very sharp, good, practical knife, you know, for going fishing. Which SB told me I've got to fix the expiration date, which I will after the show or when President Trump comes out. And so you get the flag, you get the blanket, you get the red knife, and you get this sporty hat, which I can wear right now because I don't have any hair because I got a haircut. So you get all 4 of those things. You get this red hat, Gulf of America hat. You get the knife. You get the blanket. You get the flag. All of that. All of it for Christmas for just $69. All of those things for $69. That's all you have to do. And they're also going to throw in a mystery bonus worth $150. I can't tell you what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's probably that plane right there. That model plane that you see, the Trump Force One. Don't quote me on it, but if they're giving you a mystery bonus worth over $150, I'm pretty sure that's what it could be. It could be the Trump airplane. It could be the Trump bobblehead. I don't even know where I put the bobblehead. Oh, here's my bobblehead. There's my bobblehead. I got all kinds of goodies. People are like, what? They're going to be in a new studio, by the way. So he's got his place right there. And who knows what else they may send you. All this together is worth $380, but right now you can grab it for less than $100. Just $69. And this offer is only valid for you guys here in the Fanfare family. So I hope you take advantage of it. You might make somebody very happy for Christmas. All right, so let's see what happens. It's 3:59, almost 4 o'clock, and President Trump hasn't come out yet. Okay. All right, let's go and move into the next portion of the show. And if he comes out, I'll have to stop. Let's go.
Yeah, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's being taught both at home and at schools and in our society.
Couldn't be the Somalis. I mean, it just couldn't be these people that we just brought in. You know, it just possibly can't be them.
But no, I think this idea that the Somali community's to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And that's, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new.
See, when I watched this guy talk and I realized there's something wrong. There's something really wrong. To the point where he looks scared. He looks freaked out. He looks as though if he says the wrong thing, the Somalis might come and do something. None of this makes any sense whatsoever. And he looks terrified.
And new, and it's been being worked on, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
The Somali.
What's dangerous? It's dangerous to be talking about this. It's dangerous for us all to be talking about these Somalis and what they've done. Are you absolutely kidding me? Well, before I start showing you some of the really crazy stuff, let me show you what has been exposed. Absolutely determined. The Biden administration really didn't want anyone to know the DNA test results found a 99.99998% chance that Ilhan Omar and her second husband are brother and sister. The Biden administration ignored incest. She married her brother. I just want you to let that sink in. Minnesota is so bad. There is so much crime in Minnesota. And it's there because they have, for some reason, brought these people halfway around the world, installed them in their communities, and said, do what you need to do. And we're going to put this person in to lead you who's married to her brother. And nobody in the last 4 years thought this was bad. They looked the other way. It's incredible. I want to show you something. Where is this one? Somebody writes here, in all 50 states of the United States, it's illegal to marry your brother. The marriage should be deemed invalid, is considered fraud, and Ilhan Omar should be charged with a felony. Not only should she be charged with a felony, she used that to come into the country. This is from the Trump team. They actually have the documentation showing she married her brother. And you guys don't think that this entire Democratic Party is a criminal enterprise? That there is nothing that these people won't do? They will bring in somebody, put them on a pedestal, have them elected, who they know committed incest. I don't know there are some things worse, but not much worse. And it just keeps going and going and going. Breaking, DSH claims that Ilhan Omar married her brother and shows receipts. Newly revealed documents show Ilhan Omar wed Ahmad Elmi, who some say shares her dad's name and family ties while still married to another man, all to sneak into the United States. She always shot it down as absurd, but with Trump back in charge, border czar Tom Homan, he ain't playing. I've asked for eyes on Ilhan Omar's marriages. The Free Beacon journalism website is piling on, saying that their investigation proves beyond a reasonable doubt it was shady. This hits as Omar's Somali roots and path to citizenship get fresh scrutiny. If fraud is confirmed, it could trigger deportation and end her time in Congress. And the sources are Newsweek, Gateway Pundit, Free Beacon, and Newsmax. Do you see what 2026 is shaping up to be? 2026 is shaping up to be a massive year of exposure. Massive exposure on so many different fronts. Remember, everything I'm going to show you right now, this stuff is just coming to bear in late December. I can't wait to see what happens in January. There's just so much. In addition to all of that, Scott Bessent, who is now, to be the Treasury Secretary, is surging investigators into Minnesota to track payments to Somalia. We will not stop until we fully investigate, analyze, and permanently end this massive fraud ring. Multiple money service businesses are being targeted, and enhanced reporting requirements are being instituted. Egregious fraud in Minnesota has cost taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars. That's actually wrong. Billions. including funds sent to Somalia through money service businesses, that's like Western Union and that kind of stuff, which provide financial services outside that of a formal bank. Besson is issuing a geographic targeting order against certain entities to ensure payments to other countries like Somalia. Sorry about that. That would be like Somalia are immediately picked up. Good, expose it all. Wow. This is just the surface. So as I'm telling you this, you're realizing all this is happening now in late December, mid-December. What do you think is going to happen once these investigations start hitting the road? Well, and there's a lot of stuff to feed on. Wait till you see some of this stuff.
Community in Minnesota has been in the news recently because of a massive federal fraud case and heated political rhetoric from President Trump.
Jonah Kaplan of CBS News Minnesota has an exclusive look now at how fraudsters spent hundreds of millions in taxpayer dollars.
Notice that's CBS. So now it's become mainstream. They can't ignore it anymore. It's that big. And these stories are going to blow you away.
A honeymoon in the Maldives, a fleet of luxury cars. Here's a box with more than $270,000 in cash. This was all evidence from a new trove of files obtained exclusively by CBS News, showing how a group of convicted Minnesota fraudsters spent taxpayer dollars. One text message reads, "You are going to be the richest 25-year-old.
We're not even at the end of the beginning of our pursuit of the stolen money and of the people who stole it."
U.S. Attorney Daniel Rosen leads the office digging into the wave of COVID-era fraud that hit Minnesota.
So how much money are we talking about stolen from the American taxpayer?
I can say with great comfort, well in excess of $1 billion.
In the past,
$1 billion was stolen by people who usually have an average IQ of 80 or 90. This story is going to have such deep tentacles that many, many people are going to get caught up on it. There is no way, as I've said before, that someone from a country like Somalia could land in Minnesota and even know where to steal $1 billion. It's not possible without political connections. Somebody had to have said, fill out this form. Do this, do that. Let's help you set up this bank account. Let's set this up. You wouldn't know that. You get off the boat or the plane from Somalia, you're like, wow, there's big buildings here. You guys can eat anytime you want. There's stores with food in it. You can just walk in. If you got money, you can eat. Oh, there's pretty white women running around. These people didn't know anything. They just showed up out of a country where they're running away from lions and, tigers. And they showed up in America and they were able to steal $1 billion? Somebody explain that to me. Somebody even tell me what phone numbers they knew to call, what documents they knew to sign, what banks to go to do the, set up the accounts and put the wire transfers together. Somebody tell me how you would know that. There are Americans walking around right now who couldn't set that up. There are probably people in the chat like, hey man, I don't even know how I would do that. What program? What program is going to be out there with me who has no ID? I just showed up here. I barely can speak the language, and you're going to give me $1 billion and food stamps and Section 8 and free internet. And you're going to put money in my account. You tell me that. You tell me how that works. Hold on a second. There's a speech getting ready to happen. I got to break this up. Hold on 1 second. I got something.
It's a blessing and an honor to be here. I want to say congratulations to Alabama. Congratulations to Huntsville. Congratulations to Redstone Arsenal. Congratulations to this entire delegation. The leadership from the chairman to the delegation, Senator Britt, mayor, governor, coach, senator, whatever your title is. Congratulations. You guys represent your state extremely well. And I also want to pass my congratulations and thanks from President Trump. He wanted me to pass the message on Space Command to Alabama. Welcome home. It's been mentioned, and it's true, and I won't belabor it, but President Trump has understood the importance of the space domain from the beginning, from his first term, and you laid it out well, Mr. Chairman. From recognizing the importance and the need for a Space Force, to the recognition of reestablishing SpaceCom, to commissioning the study to look into it, to choosing this place, to commissioning another study, to then ensuring in his second term, once again, the Air Force Secretary made the right choice, recommended to me, recommended to the President, that this is the place to continue to establish space dominance right here in Alabama. And when you look at what we're doing at the Department of War, you know, we are defending the homeland and the hemisphere. We're deterring adversaries. We're working with our allies to burden share and shift those burdens. We're looking at rebuilding the defense industrial base, which is what we're doing right here. We're reviving the warrior ethos, rebuilding the military, reestablishing deterrence. And then when you look at what President Trump's doing, it's America first, peace through strength, and then the old one that fits just perfect, common sense. It is common sense that this is precisely where Space Command should be. It is common sense that we need to move rapidly and expeditiously, and we will. Colonel, you're right. It normally takes prayers to be on time and under budget. Just no doubt. But as General Whiting knows, he met with us at the Pentagon just a few weeks ago. We are deadly serious in committing to cutting every piece of red tape and bureaucracy to get this headquarters established as quickly as humanly possible. So yes, in some ways today is symbolic, but it's not. It's a recognition of a full speed ahead, full steam motion to ensure that we break ground, we move, we build, we move people, we move capabilities right where it should be as quickly as possible. Because first it was he who controls the skies, now it's he who controls the space domain, understands what the future of warfare will look like and who maintains that dominance. Your delegation has understood that. President Trump understands that. We are completely committed to it at every level, and that's why I'm here today. Because the quicker we establish this, the more robust the capabilities are, the more likely we are able to deter the next conflict, and if necessary, stand prepared to overwhelmingly defeat our enemies, which is the responsibility of the War Department, which is what the House Armed Services Committee and the other committees enable us to do, and we're committed to delivering it. So God bless you all. God bless this great state. And I'm not saying anything about college football teams. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. Now, Secretary Hegseth, Honorable Mink, General Whiting, General Mohan, Command Sergeant Major Garza, and Chief Master Sergeant Simmons, please join Secretary Hegseth to unveil the U.S. Space Command's signage. This signifies U.S. Space Command's official move and marks the home of the command's permanent headquarters here at Redstone Arsenal, Alabama, a federal center of excellence. Now we will start the countdown at 3, and at the 0 mark, unveil the sign. Got it? All right. All together, please. 3, 2, 1. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, please return to your seats.
All right, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot going to happen in 2026. There is going to be so much happening. Not by accident that they're out here today getting ready. Well, they just commemorated the SpaceCom. Here, let me show you this some more as they're giving a panorama where they're about to break ground. Hold on. I can't imagine how fast they're going to be working to get this entire facility put up out there in the woods of Huntsville, Alabama. No, there's not a lot going on right now. There's nothing happening. You know, all the people out there, all the naysayers who are saying some of the craziest stuff. No, there's nothing happening. Don't worry. There's obviously a lot going on, much of which we don't know. But it's coming. So I'm going to go back to the Somalis here while we're waiting for President Trump to come up. He hasn't come up yet. So let's continue to listen to the U.S. attorney talk about the billions of dollars these Somalis have stolen.
3 years, 87 defendants have been charged, 61 convicted. The majority of them are Somali American. Minnesota has the nation's largest Somali population. The perpetrators are accused of ripping off state-run programs intended to feed low-income kids, house the disabled, and provide services to autistic children.
This was a get-rich scheme.
Andy Luger was the U.S. attorney who first examined this fraud. He left in January.
One of the things we discovered is that a number of the people involved were buying investment property, resort property in Kenya.
Wire transfer.
You know what's funny about all this? As we're watching Mandami get elected, as we're watching AOC and everybody push towards socialism, it's amazing how much money is attractive to these people. Hey, you don't need anything. Let the government take care of you. Oh, yeah, we're all going to be socialists. Money. Let me buy investment property and luxury cars and take trips to, the French Riviera. Let's do all that stuff that money can give you. But let's tell everybody money sucks. Capitalism sucks. America sucks. But when you get here, you want to steal and take advantage of America while going out on stump speeches and telling people capitalism sucks. Really?
It's reviewed by CBS News also show more than $1 million went to Chinese banks. The Trump administration has said it's investigating whether any of the money fell into the hands of terror groups like al-Shabaab in Somalia. But both Luger and Rosen agree the evidence so far shows the criminals were only interested in getting rich.
So there's no evidence that any of these convicted or those who are charged sent a check and directly gave it to al-Shabaab.
I think that's a fair characterization.
These are federal.
But you didn't ask the next question. Next question should have been, you mean so far? You mean as of right now, we can't make that tie? Even though we have transfers going to China, who in the hell in China was getting that money? There's a lot of weird stuff going on. I mean, they love themselves some American dollars. Oh, we love America. Great country.
We funded programs. They happen in every U.S. state. What happened here in Minnesota that allowed this fraud to materialize, to metastasize?
It appears that the people at the highest levels of responsibility in the government of the state of Minnesota looked the other way.
Oh, Timmy. No wonder Timmy looked so sad. It appears the people in the highest level of government looked the other way. I'm going to go further, and I'm going to say they facilitated it. There's no way these people could have done it on their own. Even to the fact of telling them, lay low, bro. I know you got 2 or 3 million in the account. Lay low. Don't go out there buying Porsches and Maseratis. Don't do it yet. People are going to wonder how the hell you got off a boat in Somalia and now you got a Maserati. This was a stupid but easiest crime to even look at. Hey, man, did you just get here like a year ago? Yeah. How you buying investment property and driving a Porsche? You don't do anything. You don't know how to do anything. You know why you know you didn't know how to do anything? Because you weren't doing anything over there. What the hell were you doing in Somalia? Did you run businesses? Oh, that's right. There ain't any. So this is easy for people to see, especially the people who were in Minnesota. The people in Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, Keith Ellison, the state attorney general, Tim Walz, they all had to do this. And then the next question is, why were they doing that? Why were they looking the other way? Votes. This was all done on purpose. It's going to come out to that.
A spokeswoman for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz tonight tells us that fighting the fraud, it's his, quote, top priority, and fraud is something that happens in states red and blue. Tomorrow, the governor plans to name a new...
You know what that sounds like? Remember when they caught Letitia James doing mortgage fraud, and CNN came out and said, well, everybody does. Everybody commits mortgage fraud. Well, everybody steals, programs. Everybody does. It's not just here. When you get to the point where you're excusing criminal behavior by saying, well, they do it too, you know we're in big trouble. You know they're in big trouble. Everybody does it. And now they can't even get Letitia James charged because the judges won't indict her. Even though on the paper they can see she committed mortgage fraud. Everybody does it. Why are you going to arrest Letitia?
Statewide fraud czar. Members of the Somali community, meanwhile, they're warning that they as a community are being held collectively responsible.
Jonah Kaplan revealing work.
I don't know about you, but if I looked out the door and saw my neighbor had a whole bunch of little girls hanging out at, all hours of the night, I'd be a little bit suspect. I'd probably pick up the phone and say, hey, you guys might want to check out that house. It smells like weed and stuff, and I keep seeing 13 and 14-year-old girls dressed up like hookers going in there late at night. You want to check that out. But the Somalis want you to think, oh, we saw Ahmed with a Porsche, and we knew he couldn't add 2 + 2, but we didn't think anything was wrong. Why are you blaming all the community? Because you all knew.
Here in Minneapolis tonight. Thank you.
Report revealing how those accused Minnesota fraudsters spent the money meant for hungry kids. Court documents show confirmation and receipts for a private villa stay.
All right, just read that. Just look at that yourself. A private villa at the Radisson Blu with a private pool in the Maldives, or Maldives, however you want to say it. Lakefront property in Minnesota. Wire transfers to China and East Africa. First class tickets to Istanbul and Amsterdam. How many of you guys have flown first class? Now, how much did you have to work to fly first class? So if you just came from Somalia and you're eating dirt cookies, what's the likelihood that you could have done any of this? A 2021 Porsche Macan, stacks of cash, texted between defendants. How do people who come from third world hellholes end up doing that? All that stuff you see right there.
Lakefront property, wire transfers to China and East Africa, first class plane tickets, a Porsche, and cash. One defendant reportedly texting, quote, "You're going to be the richest 25-year-old. Wow. Here to react.
Inshallah, from what I understand, I don't know Somali, but I did hear somebody else say, God willing. So, no, the other communities weren't in watching it. God willing, you're going to be the richest Somali at 25 we ever seen.
Friends, weekend co-host Rachel Campos Duffy, Charlie Hurt, and Griff Jenkins. It's good to see y'all, gang. I'll start with you, Charlie. This is egregious. We keep talking about affordability, but we had illegals stealing our money.
It's all a ruse. I've been telling you that. I told you it earlier. At this point, I know if you're still here, if your head hasn't exploded, if you have just digested this, you're like, this is all bullshit. Excuse my language. Everything we see on X is complete crap. This country has been running amok, and people have been laughing at us. You stupid Americans. You pay your taxes every April? They're spitting in our face. They're laughing at us. And you got idiots on X going, oh, no, we can't win. You have no idea what's coming. Just with this story, never mind the other stuff, just with this story, Americans should be freaking out. Media won't talk about it. They want it. Hey, Candace Owens. Huh? I don't give a crap. This is people's livelihoods that the government has been stealing for decades. And remember, each of these things are linked together. USAID, NPR, PBS. And how much more do you have to go? I don't feel like paying any taxes anymore. I think President Trump is right. I think he needs to come out and go, I'm not collecting taxes. Because I don't think if we add all this stuff up, that we really have a financial problem here. I think America has been bent over and taken advantage of for God knows how long. And in the next couple of minutes, you're going to see some of this stuff and go, no more. I can't do this.
Not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the.
See what I mean? Don't look at the black Somalis who did this. It's the white guys are doing it too. Everybody did. Everybody gets some. I ain't got none. You get it? Nope.
Crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is their secondary.
I think somebody educated them already. I think some people had some, privilege. That's the word the Democrats like to use. They had some privilege education. Fill out these documents, sign this paper, and you're going to get rich. Won't anybody check? We control it. We're the Democrats. We can make you rich. Just keep voting for us.
Victims in this, that there's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. So I think it's asking us then.
Whose fault is that? So you just went on television and said, my program is so messed up, there are people being fraudulently included, but you want to know who's signing these people up? I mean, it's not like they're just walking into some state building and doing it. Somebody's running the program. Where'd the money go? Well, we know who it went, but who else did it go to?
For every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that. I think it's crime in general. And I think the biggest thing on this is just making sure that we're educating the population. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this, maybe some more in that, out of a broader ring. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all.
This isn't good. This isn't good at all when the governor of a state is deflecting and saying it's the white people and the Hispanics. Don't. It's not just the Somalis. That doesn't sound like somebody who wants to get to the bottom of something, does it? That doesn't sound like somebody's like, the buck stops here. These people did something wrong. I need to find out what the hell is going on. But it's all over the place. It's white people. It's Hispanic. Maybe some blacks. Not the Somalis. I'm pretty sure even in the most basic of things, when you were growing up, what did your mom say? Just because Billy jumped off a bridge, you're going to jump off of it? We were taught that. You can't say those kinds of answers. And you're the governor of a state that people have stolen $1 billion, and you've got a congressperson who was in bed with her brother, and this is what you do? Oh, 2026 is going to be lit.
All ethnic groups. So I think it's really important for us to note each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think we continue to educate folks about why they shouldn't commit crimes. You would hope that it's
Timmy, hey Timmy, maybe you should have told them that before you put them in the plane. Maybe you should have found out, hey, what kind of person are you? Do you like to steal? Maybe when you bring people over who, eat leaves, and then you show them a 7-Eleven, something's gonna, wait a minute, they got food in there? What are these white chicks walking around? What? You might want to done the education over there. Too late now, bud.
Taught both at home and at schools and in our society. But no, I think this idea that the Somali community is to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. And that's, again, I know we're not going to lose the whole plot here. All this work is being done. Donald Trump brought this to the attention like...
It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault that these people act like savages when they come here to America. It's Trump's fault that we dumped them into the city, took over the city, and somebody showed them how to fill out forms and make money. It's Trump's fault.
This is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
Well, now he said that twice. That wasn't a repeat. He said that twice, meaning he didn't have anything else to say. And nobody's talking about it. You see, I've got a couple of clips from Fox, but for the most part, nobody wants to talk about this. America has been under attack internally for quite some time. There's certain people like me and some others who say we're in a civil war because it's a different kind of civil war. They are taking advantage of you. They're taking advantage of me. They're laughing at our faces. They're laughing at you and pretending like we're the bad ones and we all should be socialists. Maybe we should be. Because if that's socialism, if everybody gets a new Porsche, if you get $180,000 a week, if you're able to go to the Maldives, that's some awesome socialism. Maybe that's why they want everyone to be a socialist. Does everybody get the Porsche? Is Oprah going to come back on TV and say, hey, everybody gets a Porsche? You hypocrites. You absolute hypocrites. In addition to being criminals and sleeping with your brother, you're criminals and you're hypocrites. Socialism.
Investigators are tracking the web of fraud to other Minnesota Democrats, such as Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Many of the suspects linked to the scheme live in her district, including a restaurant owner who hosted events for her. He has since been convicted of stealing $12 million in COVID funds.
This scandal is going to rock.
You can't make this stuff up. The person that used to hold her events for her, the person where she would go to have her campaign events in the restaurant that wasn't feeding anybody, that said they were feeding 5,000 or 6,000 kids a day, that I'm sure a cop could have walked by or something. Hey man, they're not feeding anybody. I don't even smell any food.
The core of Minnesota politics and American politics. We are going to be able to show through whether it be willful blindness, whether it be deliberately turning the other way, or whether it be direct knowledge, we are going to show how Democrat politicians, Democrat bureaucracies, Democrat political systems, and the Somali refugee population ripped off the American people, stole countless taxpayer dollars, and engaged in scams that boggle the mind, scams that we can scarcely even conceive of or imagine in their brazenness.
See, when I heard him say that, when he said that, that we couldn't even conceive of, that makes me think, and it should make you think at that point, in all seriousness, if these were scams and schemes that boggle the mind that we couldn't even think of, and we're educated Americans. How did they think of it? Well, the only answer to that question is they didn't. They didn't think of it. They were brought over here as, straw men and straw women. Sign this friggin' piece of paper. Nobody's going to be able to track you. You don't have a social security number. Nobody knows who the hell you are. And we're going to submit this form to the government run by Kamala and Joe Biden. And they're going to issue these checks from to various bank accounts. And we're going to give you a portion. Remember, what we're seeing right now is a portion of the dollars. We don't know the fees that the banks took because the banks had to be involved in it. When you go to open a bank account, what's the bank say? Well, we're going to have to do this. We're going to have to run your credit. We're going to do this. What's the service called? Check systems. We got to look you up. We got to make sure you're not doing anything. The Patriot Act tells us we got to look up your name. Make sure you're not of ill repute. How did they open these bank accounts? How did this guy come in with, dirty feet and sandals that you've never seen before, sat in front of you, and had $1 million in his account in a couple weeks? You looked the other way, didn't you? Yeah, of course you did. Who helped them fill out these forms? Who in the government issued the checks? Remember, now you've got to go all the way back to Wally the Nigerian. And remember what was said a long time ago with Doge. They were just issuing checks and nobody was verifying them. I don't know if you remember that. We did videos on it a long time ago that they had a no verification policy. If the invoice came in, pay it. So there were a whole lot of people getting fat off this.
Truly underscores the extent to which the Democrat Party has used migration as a weapon against the American people to gain political power at the expense of American citizens, stealing their money, stealing their votes, stealing their sovereignty. This is going to be case in point for the argument that President Trump has made about why we must stop mass third-world migration into this country. It is a tool the Democrat Party has used to rob the American people blind.
Tennessee judge.
Now, if that didn't bother you, you know about the rogue judicial system. So you got people over here stealing. You got other people over here doing whatever they want to women, little kids. And then you got judges who are like, yeah, man, it's no big deal. So much happening, it's hard for people to keep up with.
Are calling for added security from Governor Bill Lee after comments made by Representative Andy Ogles involving the case of a man in our country from Somalia, reportedly in our country legally from Somalia, who allegedly raped an unconscious woman on the steps of a Nashville church. He is facing 4 charges of rape. His name is Muhammad Muhammad. He is 39 years old. Witnesses say he raped.
What was his name? I can't. Oh, but it gets better. Oh, it gets better.
34-year-old Megan Mayo, and she later died at the hospital. Her cause of death has not been reported. The autopsy is not complete yet. Critics are outraged that this man was on the streets to begin with. He had 15 other charges against him, including one for sexual battery, and most of
revolving door in the court system. Oh, you're Somali? Go ahead. You got to get out of jail free card. Don't forget that deposit you got to send, okay? You got my wire transfer information? I got it, Judge. Yeah.
those charges were dismissed. Representative Ogles says the judges involved in these dismissals should be impeached. That's why they are calling for added security.
To hell with impeach. We're a long way past impeaching these people. We don't have time to impeach all these judges. We have to do exactly what they did down with and what Bukele did when he took over his country. Get rid of them. Round them up and get rid of every single one of these crooked judges. Oh, there's more though.
So a judge who tossed out a jury's guilty verdict in a fraud case is not the only judge in Hennepin County who had problems with the state's case. I broke this story that went national a couple weeks ago. Judge Sarah West acquitted Abdi Fattah Youssef 3 months after a jury found him guilty in a $7.2 million home health care fraud scheme. Since then...
So, is the woman still here who said something about getting convicted by a jury of your peers? I hope she's still here. It doesn't matter if you're Somalian.
I found that another judge, Amber Brennan, dismissed charges against Yusuf's wife before it reached trial, and a third judge, Hillary Caligiuri, dismissed charges against another co-defendant. In that case, Caligiuri said the state had very little evidence. Judge West's ruling relies on a review standard for cases that rely heavily on circumstantial evidence with wording that is unique to Minnesota. It says that the evidence has to be inconsistent with any other reasonable hypothesis. I'm following a state Supreme Court decision expected to come back soon that could completely rewrite all of that. It's the conviction of Nick Firkus for the 2010 murder of his wife Heidi. Whether his conviction is overturned or affirmed, the court opinion will have a huge impact on many cases in the state.
Told you. I told you you'd be pissed off. What good is it if the police arrest, the juries convict, and then the judges say, nah, don't worry about it. But he took $7 million. No big deal. How can you run a country with this kind of corruption? Where everybody's looking the other way. Police arrest. Prosecutor convicts. Jury gives a verdict. Judge says, never mind. We cannot survive this. We have to do something drastic in 2026. That's what I think is where we're headed. I think we have to do it. I'm not done yet either. I got more. Don't use all your rage up yet. We got more rage. President Trump is going on 2 hours late, so good thing I had all this stuff settled in. I will be right back in, looks like 2 minutes. Let me talk to you today about today's show sponsor, and it's Krill Antarctic Oil. I talk a lot to you guys about being proactive, skating where the puck is going to be, whether it's about your finances, your career, or your health. And when it comes to your health, one of the smartest moves you can make, especially as we all get older, is protecting your heart, your brain, and for me especially, my joints. That's why I've added Native Path Krill Oil to my daily routine. Now you might be wondering, what in the heck is krill oil, and what's the difference between krill oil and other omega-3s like fish oil? Well, krill oil is not like regular fish oil. Native Path Krill Oil is sourced from pristine Antarctic waters. No microplastics, away from the heavy metals and toxins, all that stuff that you want to avoid. It's packed with powerful omega-3s in phospholipid form, which means your body actually absorbs them even better and up to 2 times more efficiently than normal typical fish oil you buy at the supermarket. But here's the kicker. Krill oil contains natural astathafen, hope I said that correctly, which is one of nature's strongest antioxidants to help fight free radical damage, support brain clarity, and promote healthy aging. That is a powerful antioxidant that potentially neutralizes all those free radicals and reduces oxidative stress. Basically, it gives you more energy, and it gives you better joint pain, or lessens your joint pain. It's been shown to be significantly more potent than any other antioxidants like vitamin C and vitamin E, which I'm not saying don't take your vitamin C. You should continue taking vitamin C. Research suggests krill oil may offer several benefits, including to your joints. It may reduce inflammation and improve joint pain. I can attest to that. It may support cardiovascular health by improving blood flow and reducing oxidative stress. It also may improve your memory and your cognitive performance. And it also may help your eyes and may improve visual fatigue. I can tell you from staring at lights and cameras and monitors, yes, you do get lots of eye fatigue. And especially it would help against age-related macular degeneration. Skin Help. It may help protect against UV damage here in the summertime. Here in South Florida, we get a ton of sun, and it reduces the sign of aging, like wrinkles. Other potential benefits may also help with liver health, exercise, performance, and your metabolic health. The science is clear. So if you want to support your heart, your joints, and your brain and do it with a clean, highly absorbable source, go to this website right there, getkrill.com/Barry, and grab your krill oil for up to 66% off plus free shipping. That site again is getkrill.com/Barry.
For having me. There are much deeper issues. I've moved into the U.S. And in Maine about 11 years ago, and basically the first question that members of my community asked me which tribe, I belong to, and when I mentioned, so I fell into that category. So there's a deeper tribal rivalry going on in the community, much larger than anybody can actually imagine. And then interestingly enough, even though I spoke very good English, one of the things that I was told to do is go find a discounted housing Section 8, which I didn't know what actually it was, and sign up for all the other community benefits within the government or the state. And my response was, I'm actually here to work and build, basic and become part of the American fabric, which is pretty much what I've been working on for a while.
I'm incredibly fascinated by what you're having to say, so much so that I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to clarify. So when you felt that pressure and you were told to go join, public welfare programs once you moved here, where was that pressure coming from? Are you saying it's like cultural, like neighborhood, like neighbors telling you this is what you should do? How were you pushed in that direction?
Well, it was coming from the community that actually thought that was just a way of life, right?
I thought Tim Walz just said you can't blame the community. They're not the ones doing it. Even Will Kane's like, excuse me, hold on a second. Who's telling you to go do this? Yeah, everybody. Everybody here knows that. Go ahead and fill out these papers. You're going to get free housing. It must be really good for somebody who comes from a thatch hut. Now you get free housing in America too? And you get free food? I ain't ever leaving. I'm pitching a tent here. And then you get to steal money? People are just going to pay you for filling out a form? America, what a country.
Instead of being asked about what kind of school I want to go to, what subjects I would love to study, and those interesting conversations weren't there at all. And my response...
Yeah, I hope you caught that. I expected people would say, where do you want to go to school? What kind of skills can we teach you? Nope. We want you dumb and doing exactly what we want you to do. We want you to be completely dependent upon the government. This isn't by accident. This has been a campaign of criminal activity, and it obviously has been going on for years. And it's right under Tim Walz's nose. He knows what's been happening. The Democrats know what's been happening. It's probably getting ready to happen in New York under Mondami. All of this has been going on for quite some time, and it's bubbling up to the surface because it's so voluminous. There is so much theft. There is so much criminality, so much fraud, that I'm pretty sure the Trump administration has pushed a button and said, let it out. Let all these people know, let the Americans know right now what's going to be happening in 26. We have to.
Was, can we do better things? Can we as a community actually integrate? And let's listen to that word, interestingly, because that had got me a huge backlash. This is many, many years ago that many people thought, no, let's not talk about integration. And I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't ready for a pushback against this idea.
I don't know if you noticed, Will's a good host, and he's very professional, and you could almost see him seething. He had to take a deep breath because, oh my God, I'm on camera and I'm hearing this. I'm hearing what these people have done to this country. These utter scumbag Democrats. I don't think you have enough rage that you've watched thus far to get it out. There's going to be more. There's even more coming that's been, today's Friday. It's supposed to be a slow news day, right? Nah, not so much. Even more fraud and theft coming your way.
Of sort of melting into America, becoming part of America. And let's just be very clear that I haven't arrived here as a young man. I came here at age 29, so I was well informed about my culture and my community growing up in the civil war in Somalia.
Incredibly, you're telling me you not only were discouraged from integrating into America, but you were also encouraged to stick to your tribal allegiances from back in Somalia. And those tribal allegiances and divisions remain here in America. That stat I showed, I'm curious, Abdi, about the percentage of the Somali population on some form of welfare, 80%, and stays that way.
You're importing criminals and leeches. You are not importing anybody who's going to further the interest of this country. 80% of those people that you brought in are sucking off the government. 80% of the people in that community that they absolutely love, we got to have our Somalis, are feeding off of you and me. And then they're being told, don't even try to be prosperous. Don't try to work. They're just going to give it all to you. And don't assimilate to America. Stay with your tribe. I thought the entire idea of immigration was to become an American. I thought the idea was like what my dad did when he came over and he learned how to be an American and he became a citizen and then joined the National Guard and the Army. No, that's not what they're doing. You hate America. Pity America. But we love your money, but we just hate you.
Stays that way over a 10-year period. Does that surprise you?
In some ways, it does not. Let me give you one example here. When I was in Somalia, a huge part of the population in Somalia, we're talking about 20 million people in Somalia, a huge number of that depended on $100 that family members in the U.S. sent back home. So there was not a lot of work to rebuild the country or get to work or, just basically building things. So this whole idea of receiving.
Look at that chart. Pay attention to that chart. Welfare use rates in Minnesota by household. Any welfare, 81%. 81% Somalis are on some form of welfare. 27% of them get cash. 54% get food stamp. 73% get free health care. I don't like using the word free because you're paying for it. And the guy, by his own admission, said they have no viable economy. So why would we have looked at that country halfway around the world and said, you know what? That seems like a good group of people. Nobody who has any skills, and even if you did have a skill, they talked you into forgetting that and just take from the government. Sorry, maybe you have to take like an aspirin right now because this stuff is probably just making you go crazy.
Things the easy way has unfortunately actually evolved and become part of our way of life.
Exactly. And this is such an insanely infuriating story to share with you tonight, Sean. We're talking about luxury cars, private villas, and overseas wire transfers. Just some of the discoveries found in dozens of files and photos belonging to those Minnesota fraudsters, as you point out, most of them of Somali descent, and that's even according to CBS News. Now, in their report, the crooks apparently blew through hundreds of...
So what you're going to be seeing, these pictures on the right, are evidence. This is the evidence of what these people bought. This picture is of the lakefront property in Minnesota that the Somali guys bought.
Millions of dollars in taxpayer funds in one of the biggest COVID-era fraud schemes. The files documenting spending sprees in which defendants, get this, took taxpayer money that was obviously meant to feed hungry kids during the pandemic, and instead they used it to buy fancy cars, property, jewelry. In some instances, they were on video popping champagnes at an opulent Maldives resort. In one text, a message said to one of the fraudsters, "You're going to be the richest 25-year-old, inshallah," which means God willing. Now, the documents also feature exhibits from a recent federal trial, and they include confirmation of that Maldives stay.
You heard that before, but I wanted you to see the pictures. The pictures infuriated me more. And, you know, seeing the text on the screen, it's one thing. Yeah, I'm seeing these guys pour champagne. They probably don't even know what champagne is. So when you hear about Tom Homan going into these communities and surging and getting them out, it's not hard to find them. If you're driving around in a Porsche, where'd you get a Porsche, bro? We know you're not working. We know you're on welfare. And we're not supposed to question this. I wonder if YouTube will have a problem with this video. We're not supposed to even talk about it. Just the opposite. I've spent this time today, I put this together because I want you talking about it. I want you telling people, this is ridiculous. Many of you have worked 30, 40 years and you're getting, a pittance in terms of Social Security, and these people are stealing billions.
Front property in Minnesota, bought again with your money. Wire transfers to China and East Africa. First class tickets to Amsterdam and Istanbul. A 2021 Porsche Macan, that's an SUV, and stacks. And I mean stacks of cash in text messages. I've seen the pictures. It's incredible. One set of defendants spent about $3 million in cash and then sent that money over to Kenya. Another group conspired to basically bilk the state out of $47 million, claiming to have served, millions of kids during the pandemic. They didn't distribute a single meal. Now, so far...
Not a single meal. By the way, that's the restaurant that Ilhan Omar was holding her campaign events. Not one single meal. $47 million. I would love to know where that $47 million ended up. $47 million, not one meal. Oh no, the community didn't know? The community didn't know that here was this restaurant that's supposed to be feeding hungry kids and not a single meal's coming out of it? They all just walk past it every single day? Don't tell me they didn't know.
Our federal prosecutors have convicted 61 people, Sean, and this probe is widening and the scandal continues. The investigations are ongoing, and I promise you, based on everything that we've seen thus far, there is yet more to come.
That's absolutely terrifying. After everything you've seen thus far, there's more. There's more coming. And I still have more. President Trump hasn't come up yet. I got more for you. If that wasn't bad enough, if that bazillion dollars of theft wasn't bad enough that's being uncovered, I want you to listen to this.
Matter in trouble again. The leader of the Oklahoma City chapter is accused of using millions of donations as her personal ATM, and now she faces 25 federal counts. That's very serious. David Spunt, live from Washington with more. Hi, David.
Hi, Dana. Her name is Tashella Sherry Moore Dickerson. According to federal prosecutors, she's 52 years old. She ran Black Lives Matter, the Oklahoma City branch, and is charged with wire fraud and money laundering. Authorities say she began her tenure leading the organization in OKC back in 2016, giving her access to PayPal, Cash App, bank accounts of the Black Lives Matter.
You see a pattern here? If you remember back to the movie I mentioned before, Goodfellas, where De Niro, his character says, don't go out there blowing any jack. Stay low, lay low. We just ripped off this money. We don't want people to unnecessarily see you guys out there buying fur coats and Cadillacs. Traveled to Jamaica and the Dominican Republic. Tens of thousands of dollars in retail shopping. At least, and this one blows me away, $50,000 in food. 50 grand in food and groceries. What the hell was she feeding? And the only way you could do this is if you didn't have a care in the world. You didn't care. No one was going to charge you. remember, and this is where people who say Pam Bondi's not doing anything, they opened up this chapter back in 2017, 2018. It took this long, 7 years, to put this woman in, at least charge her.
Chapter. They say that she put at least $3.5 million, $3.15 million, I stand corrected, in return bail checks supposed to be used to post bail for people into her personal accounts.
So she was supposed to be a bail bondsman, and she's putting it into her personal account. These people aren't bright. They just were flaunting it. They never thought they'd get in trouble. They never thought President Trump and his administration would start looking back on these things. And these people don't want to go to jail. They're going to be talking. See, in addition to 2026 being the year of exposure, it's going to be the year of, tweets. Tweety birds. These people ain't going to go down alone. They're not built for that. How did it happen? Who set it up? Where'd the money go? This is why we're seeing this country seemingly coming to a fevered pitch. There's a lot of people right now who are looking over their shoulders because too many people are getting fingered.
To the chapter accounts. These are some of the allegations where authorities say she was involved traveling to Jamaica, tens of thousands retail shopping, 50,000 in food and deliveries, personal vehicle registered in her name, 6 properties in Oklahoma City in her name, or a business that she controlled. Authorities say some of this all took place around the time of the death of George Floyd, which prompted, in some cases, violent protests across the country in 2020. Now, the BLM National Office telling Fox News she is part of a separate local organization. Writing to us, the Black Lives Matter movement practices a model of decentralized leadership. The Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation operates independent relief from local chapters, and the local chapters operate independently of the foundation, end quote. Now, we reported, Dana, at the end of October that the Justice Department is probing Black Lives Matter overall, looking at whether senior leaders in the organization may have potentially defrauded donors during...
All right, so the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, they're going through all of the... Can you imagine the staff it must take when she got in office and they started looking at this stuff, and you're opening up file and going file after fraud after criminal after fraud. Who knows what Merrick Garland was doing or not doing? Completely looking the other way. As this entire government was just one big ATM for crooks. And she was running for re-election, or not re-election, but to keep it going. No wonder they've tried to destroy Trump. When you think that, whatever you think about the guy in the roof in Butler, when you think of all the stuff that's happened to Trump, right now light bulbs should be going off in your head if they haven't gone off before. There are so many people cornered right now who are looking over their shoulders, taking off in their Lear jets, trying to get people to focus over here, look over here. And the smart people are going, this is pretty bad. It's gazillions of dollars everywhere we turn. And so if you've been one who's been, I'm tired of Pam Bondi, she's not doing anything, I've shown you 2 hours of stuff that she's absolutely doing. You wouldn't be hearing about this if it wasn't brought to the surface. Now, we're 2 hours in. President Trump was supposed to talk at 3 o'clock. No information whatsoever. Not sure what's holding it up. Hopefully it comes out, because I don't have a whole bunch more. I planned on covering a bit, but he's not here yet. But anyway, if you have a problem or have had a problem with Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, can you imagine walking into the office and beginning to look at all of these different files, and every time you pull something back, it's like, ugh, again? And at the same time as you're looking at all of this, you have to realize right now, with what I've shown you, you have to realize these people weren't smart enough to do this. These aren't people, who worked at an accounting firm who set up aliases. No, these were thugs. And they were funneled billions. So there's a lot of people up here who were calling the shots.
2020 protests. If convicted, Ms. Dickerson could face 20 years behind bars and a fine of up to $250,000 for each count of wire fraud. And there are 20 wire fraud counts out of those 25 counts total. Dana?
That's 400 years. She ain't going to do 400 years. She's gonna, in fact, unfortunately for her, that was the Oklahoma branch. So she doesn't have the luxury of having a blue state judge. She's gonna swing from the gallows, which means she's going to talk. Now, all right, so you've seen the Somalis, you've seen Black Lives Matter, and now you're gonna see a corny video. But because at this point, we can only look at this stuff and laugh. Otherwise, we'd all be crying.
You know the story of a green little thief who tiptoed through Whoville and caused holiday grief? Well, this year a new crew tried a similar feat, sneaking and scheming to swipe student aid neat. They slithered through paperwork, schemed with delight, adding fake students deep into the night. They dreamed...
Hold on, I gotta stop there, because that was a big thing. In addition to having all these straw men from Somalia, in addition to the BLM, now you didn't know, and this is where it gets really deep, you gotta read between the lines. Linda McMahon just told you now they're finding out there was a whole bunch of fake students that didn't exist, just like fake Social Security numbers. Now we have fake student loan borrowers who didn't exist, who got money that was given to the university. Now, I'm going to tell you where this is going, but you might be thinking it yourself. Just follow along.
Sacks stuffed to the brim with billions of dollars. Prospects were grim. But we weren't sleeping, not even a wink. We checked the numbers, the forms, the blink. We spotted the fakes, the tricks, the sly little plots, and followed the trail to connect all the dots. So instead of $1 billion up the chimney to go, the whole scheme collapsed like a roast cooked too slow.
Now, some of you guys were like, why is she doing this? Because she's letting these people know, we got you. We got you so bad, we're laughing at you now. Now, imagine you're part of this criminal enterprise that's been going on for who knows how long. And you're seeing her put this out there, and it sounds funny and cringy, but you're sitting back going, oh my gosh, they got us. They got us. What do we do? What do we do? You know who you are. You know what you've done. Santa knows if you've been bad. That's why I think this whole thing about the Grinch and stuff is happening, is because we know who's been naughty and we know who's been nice. And we've collapsed your entire enterprise. So now you just got to sit there, because more than likely we're already watching you. We already know who you are. You can't get away at this point. Imagine it. Imagine if you've stolen millions, tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. And somebody's now flaunting it in your face going, gotcha. We're not knocking on the door yet, but how about we're just going to sweat you for a while? How about we're just going to let you wonder how bad it's going to be? Don't pick up the phone. Don't email anybody. Don't do that either. Watch out when you walk outside. There might be something on your car. I would hate to be cornered knowing I've been caught, and all I'm doing is wondering when it's going to come down on my neck. And you got the Trump administration making funny videos about you.
Taxpayers rejoice. Students got their aid, and fraudsters, their hearts didn't grow 3 sizes. They just got caught in their disguises.
That made me wonder. They just got caught. She could have ended it right there. In their disguises. Fake names, who knows? That was a comm. If I've ever seen a comm, I've talked to you about comms. That was a comm. We gotcha. We know who you are, even in your fake disguises. So I wanted you to think for a second as to how big this criminal enterprise with student loans was. Remember, was it last week that the President Trump or Linda decided they were no longer going to honor the forgiveness of student loans? Because, in my belief, they figured out these people and what they did and what Biden did or somebody with the auto pen did was to try and protect these people who have stolen all this money from student loans. Fake names, fake social security numbers, but it was real money. And it went in somebody's bank account. And they were going to be fined. They would be absolutely fine. Because Biden or somebody, we're going to forgive all the student loans. So there's no reason to look, excuse me, because it's no longer owed. We forgave it. Nothing you can do about it. Well, we're going to do this thing with the auto pen, and we're going to go, back and say that was wrong, and we're going to stop all that forgiveness. Imagine you're a crook. Imagine you're a criminal, a fraudster, who's been stealing student loan money and thought you had the perfect cover. We have a complete get-out-of-jail-free card from the Biden administration. We're not going to collect on student loans. So there's no reason for you to look because it's been forgiven. And now, all of a sudden, at the end of 2025, when people are saying that Pam Bondi and her team aren't doing anything, now they've just erased the student loan forgiveness? Yeah, it's going to make you poop over Christmas.
Well, I'm proud to report that we've saved or will save about $1 billion of taxpayer fraud for applications, through our student loan system. And it was really a pretty simple thing to do. You think about the fact that when you buy airplane tickets or whatever, you have to show an ID if you're going to rent a card, but there had been no kind of ID verification as students.
Wait. How do you give a student loan to people you don't know if they're students? What were they doing over the last how many years? You were giving student loans out to people you didn't even know they were students. No IDs, nothing. You have to be kidding me. You guys, and notice the numbers that she just said, billions again, billions. You go to work every single day, you went to work every single day for 20, 30 years, and these people are stealing it right out the back door as you're getting it. Crazy, absolutely crazy.
Filed, their application for student loan, and what we found was there were a lot of bots and ghost students that were costing taxpayers money, and that those loans had gone to people who didn't exist or people who were dead. So we were able to root out a lot of that by this. I called it a simple process, but we've clearly had a lot of work that has been going on, with our IT department, the programs that are being put in to root out this fraud and abuse.
The programs are being put in to root out the fraud and abuse. And everyone thought Elon wasn't working with the administration. I bet you there are AI programs and everything that they've just gone ahead, because the paperwork would be exhaustive. So somebody had to write some sort of algorithm, some sort of AI, and say, go match this borrower with a social security number and let me know how many times this person got a loan. Remember, because you're going to college, you're going to be there 4 or 5 years. And how many loans did, Charlie Jones get? And then it comes back and says Charlie Jones doesn't exist. It was created by a bot. And he's gotten a loan every single year for the University of Michigan for, $40 grand a year. So you were giving money out to people every single year who didn't exist at schools that received the money, because a student loan, unless that, that's the next part. When I grew up, if people got student loans, it didn't go to the person. They had to go into the financial aid office and sign the loan and give it to the school right away. I don't know if that's changed. It's been years since I've been in college, but I remember one of my roommates said, I got a loan. I'm like, oh, great, let's go out tonight. Let's get some beers. Well, I'm not getting the money. What do you mean? It's a loan, right? No, I got to go to the financial aid office and sign it over. Oh, that's no fun. So where'd the money go? Who got it? What? That was the part in her little video that made me wonder. Again, all of this is coming out in the last couple days. Everything I've shown you has been a story from today's Friday, between Wednesday and today. Slow news day, Friday, right? President Trump, two and a half hours behind. Don't know what he's doing. But something is going on. And I don't know what he's doing in the White House. There's no way I'm privy to that information. But something has to be happening for all of this to come out. And today's Friday. So don't at me, don't tell me you don't like Pam Bondi, Dan Cash, any Department of Justice, or I need to see arrest or anything else. You're going to see it when it's time. That's when you're going to see it. Here's why. If I'm showing you all of this criminal activity, by the time it gets to your eyes, my eyes, the public's eyes, how many people you think know about this in the Department of Justice? They got the green light to tell everybody. Because at this point, you got to believe all the T's are crossed. They're just waiting. I don't know what they're waiting for. But I do know that this guy who's our president did not go through what he went through to simply let all of this go. Hey, everybody, look at all this criminality. Look at all these billions and tens of billions of dollars that were stolen. Sorry, just wanted to let you know, but we're not going to do anything about it. You really think that's going to happen? You can't be as dumb as a Somalian. You got to be more intelligent than that. And you got to stop following that crap that's taking your attention away from what's really going on. And it's funny, after she talked about the whole thing with the college stolen money, I found it odd that Elon posted this video today.
First of all, you don't need college to learn stuff, okay? Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. It is not a question of learning. There is a value that colleges have, which is like, seeing whether can somebody work hard at something, including a bunch of sort of annoying homework assignments, and still do their homework assignments and kind of soldier through and get it done. That's like the main value of college. And then also, if you probably want to hang around with a bunch of people your own age for a while instead of going right into the workforce. So I think colleges are basically for fun and to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning.
Undocumented.
With everything we're seeing right now, you have the richest man in the world, arguably one of the most successful people you'd ever want to meet, who is about to do a $1.6 trillion IPO with SpaceX, who's been working behind the scenes with Doge, knows all this stuff that's been happening, understands what he's seeing with TPUSA and the craziness that's going on there. And he comes out and says, you don't need to go to college. And I thought to myself, well, what would happen to TPUSA if people stopped going to college? What would happen? Charlie did all that stuff on campuses. And he brought the youth together, and he was a figurehead that was able to control that age group. And Elon Musk comes out and says, you need to go to college. And I thought to myself, that's a very stunning statement. He's right. He's absolutely right. I mean, if you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something of that nature, yeah, you still have to go to college, I think. But just about anything else, AI is going to do it for you. There's a lot of people who are terrified in education that AI is going to make a lot of dumb kids because you don't have to learn, but you do have to learn how to use the AI. I am a horrible cook. Robin doesn't even like me going in the kitchen. But I can probably get the most toughest souffle recipe and have Grok or another AI tell me how to make it. And step by step. If I put this prompt in, hey Grok, I don't know how to cook. I've never been a baker. I don't know what to do. Can you give me simplistic instructions on how to make a souffle and make it as if I'm a 5th grader in terms of my knowledge in the kitchen? And make it step by step, leaving out no steps so I can follow as if I'm 7 years old. And you can take what I just said and put that in Grok, and it'll tell you that. Go ahead, go to the refrigerator, make sure you open the thing, crack the egg, whip the egg. I mean, it'll tell you step by step. And other people are going to go to, Wolfgang Puck's culinary school, try to learn what Grok will tell you in literally about 8 seconds. You may not want to do that, but it'll show you how. There is nothing, and I do mean nothing, that you can't learn for 100% free. You lose the experiential aspect of it. That's why he said, yeah, you can go to be around kids and party and stuff, but that's about it. If you remember back to when you went to school, there were certain classes you had to take that were required for the curriculum, and then there were other classes that were called electives, which basically, we're going to waste your time for half the day, but just to keep you coming and take your money. I remember I thought I was getting over when I took a class called Baroque Art, and I took Baroque Art after lunch. So you know what I was doing during Baroque Art. It was in a big, giant hall, and it was awesome. Yeah, a little bug flew in there. And I took another one the next semester called Music Appreciation, where another big hall, nice air conditioning, and just sat back and just listened. Okay, can you identify the bassoon and the clarinet? And like, I don't know. I'm not even paying attention. I just got to be here. This was college. So imagine if you spent your time, instead of going to this class every couple days throughout a complete semester, if you spent 3 hours and said, hey Grok, show me everything I need to know about the Baroque area art, and what kind of art is it, and what is it, who painted it, and there it all is, if I cared. So I just found it interesting for the world's richest man, obviously one of the world's most accomplished people, to tell you, you can find out anything and have a competence and do it for free. It can't be by accident. Can't be by accident.
And immigrants receiving taxpayer-funded benefits resulted in more than 1 million extra people enrolled in Medicaid alone.
California's Medicaid system in crisis, with Governor Gavin Newsom recently asking for not one, but 2 emergency loans totaling more than $6 billion to try to plug.
This guy's one of the front runners for being a Democrat nominee, and he needs an emergency $6 billion. Why? Because they're giving all their money and all their medical services to people who shouldn't be in the state. So instead of decreasing the amount of people in the state, I need more money to make sure I give it to these people who aren't supposed to be here in the first place.
Holes in the budget after far more undocumented migrants enrolled in Medi-Cal than anticipated.
In the current year, to cover undocumented individuals in Medi-Cal,
We're spending $9.5 billion total funds.
The state of California.
Does this make any sense to you? Does any of this make any sense to you? Hey, we're going to bring all these people into the country who have no skills and no viable means of making any money, and then we're going to give them all the stuff that Americans pay for to the tune of $9 billion in one state. And we got people going, yeah, don't kick them out. Well, the reason why they're saying don't kick them out because they're not the ones paying it, and they're not the ones getting the kickbacks. $9 billion. One state. You've heard the word billion so much today, your head must be spinning and going, why am I paying taxes? Oh, we got something going on here. All right, so let me click over to this screen. I'll be back to finish off that story, but we have President Trump. He's live. Let's go here.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. Well, this is very exciting. This was one of the greatest moments in the history of U.S. sports. I wouldn't say maybe for other countries they weren't so thrilled, but for U.S. sports. And we have a very exciting team of champions standing behind me. Mr. Attorney, could you read what we're doing right now and get it done?
This is HR.
All right, hold on. I gotta get the volume up. Hold on.
Soviet Union, in the famous Miracle on Ice hockey game. This will serve as a fitting commemoration of that incredible achievement, and will hopefully be a lasting memorial of that achievement going forward, sir.
This was an amazing event. Pretty big, I don't know.
The States Congress has authorized 3 medals to be struck commemorating the historic victory of the United States men's hockey team in 1980 at the Lake Placid Olympics, where they obviously defeated the Russians in the Soviet Union, in the famous Miracle on Ice hockey game. This will serve as a fitting commemoration of that incredible achievement, and will hopefully be a lasting memorial of that achievement going forward, sir.
This was an amazing event. Pretty big, I don't know. There were some other upsets in the world. I haven't noticed them getting any of these, right? They're the only ones. That's great. We don't use auto pens here. It's a great achievement. Okay, wait a minute. There you go, Mike. Take that.
Thank you, sir.
So great, right? Most of these people are too young to remember that. But the real sports fans know it. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have the media, too. We're delighted to be joined today by true legends of American sports history, the heroes for the entire nation, the 1980 U.S. Olympic ice hockey team. This was one of the biggest moments that I've ever seen in sports, and I like sports. These are the men who gave us one of the most storied athletic wins of all time. It's called the Miracle on Ice, and I guess that's what it was. We're with us today by players like Jim Gregg, Steve Janicek, Bill Baker, Dave Christian, Ken Morrow, Jack O'Callahan, Mike Ramsey, Neil Bratt, Mike Urizioni, Rob McClanahan, Buzz Schneider, Dave Silk, Phil Ricotta, and numerous others. And what I'd love to do, when you have all of these media people, it's a nice, slow afternoon. Nothing's too slow around here. I think we just did a very good job with Thailand and Cambodia. We had them stopped, and I've been saying I stopped 8 wars, but they started shooting at each other 2 days ago. It wasn't good. And we got it, I think, straightened out today. So Thailand and Cambodia is in good shape. So we get a lot done. 8 wars. Nobody's ever stopped 8 wars. We have 1 more to go. The easiest one, I thought, would be a country that you're somewhat familiar with, Russia. and Ukraine. But a lot of progress is being made even there. Could I ask you to just say your name, and if you have anything to say, you could say that also, and then we'll get on with reading some of the stats.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Suter. I'm here representing my dad, Bob, who passed away. It's a true honor for me to be a part of this, and thank these guys for allowing me to be a part of their team. And thank you for having this and hosting us.
Your father was some player, incredible player. Did you ever play ice hockey?
I did, yeah.
How good was he compared to his father?
I'm not answering.
Mr. President, Ryan just played 21 years in the NHL. He played 1,500 games in the NHL.
Pretty comparable, though, right? Better? You think better?
Yes.
You can say he can.
His dad was tougher.
I've heard he might be.
Dad was tougher, you're right.
Dad was tougher, but you got good genetics. You had a great career. How long did you play?
I played 21 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you look pretty good for a guy who played 21 years. It's a nice business. Congratulations,
Thank
and
you.
great father.
Thank you.
Great father. Please.
I'm Taria Lewis, and I'm here representing my dad, Mark Pavlich. I'm so honored to be here. I'm at a loss for words, to be honest. Like, I can't believe this is real. And I want to say to you, President Trump, I know so many people from Duluth, Minnesota that love you. And
thank you.
Here, thank you for having us here.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
And you had a great father,
Thank you so much.
a great player.
So will miss you.
Thank you very much. Right? Very serious. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Please, go ahead.
I'm Ken Morrow. An
Yeah.
honor to meet you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
What a great win for our country. And if people don't remember, that's where the USA chant started in Lake Placid.
That's right.
Yeah.
I tried to take credit for that. you had to bring that up, didn't you? That's the end of that. That's all right. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jim Craig, and it's an honor to be here. I'm so proud of all my teammates and what we were able to accomplish for our country. And when you get a chance to represent your country, whether it's in the military or a sport, and you do something really special like our team did, and then be recognized many years later. So, Mr. President, I want to thank you for your courage that you show the country every single day.
Thank you.
And for making our country safe again.
Thank you. Yeah, we're doing that. I appreciate that very much. I didn't know you were on that team. Was Cash? Was Cash on the team?
I was the trainer.
Great. Thank you for being here. He's doing a great job, too. Thank you, Cash, very much.
Buzz Schneider, Mr. President, thanks for having us here. Thanks, Congressman Stauffer, for writing legislation with the least spot, and Tom Emmer. It's a privilege to be here, and we accomplished a wonderful thing, and I will say that I got 19 beautiful people I did it with. It was awesome. All
That's
good,
true.
solid people. Thank you. Thanks
true.
again.
They are. So you have to be solid. Thank you. Please.
Hi, I'm Neil Braun from Minnesota. Thank you, Mr. Trump. It's an honor. You're celebrating us, and I can't believe I'm even here.
It's an amazing office. It's
unbelievable.
Everybody that comes here, they can. The biggest people in the world, they come into this place and they go, "Wow, it's the Oval Office, most important office anywhere in the world, not even close." Thank you very much.
Mr. President, Michael Ruggioni, on behalf of the team, we have a replica hat that we wore at the opening ceremonies in Lake Placid.
Thank you.
You gotta put on the white hat.
And
Yeah.
more importantly, I don't think words can explain how proud we are for what you've done for our team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Put it on. Put it on.
Now we can take a picture.
You got to take a picture. You remember a certain governor in Massachusetts when they put that helmet on? That was not good. Michael Dukakis.
Yep.
They put that helmet on. That was the end of his political career. Okay, that's good.
But the honor that you bestowed upon our team is something that's incredible.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I feel it.
Thank you.
Mr. President, hello, I'm Jack O'Callahan from
Hey,
Charlestown,
Jack.
Mass.
Thanks.
And grew up on the battlefield of where the Battle of Bunker Hill was fought. And that's where it all started. And thank you so much for having us here. We're a bunch of proud Americans. And We're thrilled to be in your presence, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be with you guys, winners, champions.
Mr. President, my name is Dave Silk, and like Jack said, I'm a proud American. Thank you for having us here, and thank you to all that put this on for us. Well, I'm honored to be here.
Thank you, fellas. It's really nice. Thank you.
Mr. President, Bill Baker. I'm from Minnesota. I know that right now that doesn't ring very well. Hopefully we can get that turned around.
Do we have Somalians in the, any Somalians on the team? I don't think so. Ilya and Omar.
The pride we felt in 1980 was incredible, and we are starting to feel that again thanks to your leadership. Thank you very much.
Well, you know, Minnesota's a great place, and this is a great leader right here from Minnesota. He loves it. Not happy with what's going on up there, and I think you'll take care of that situation. We're all with you.
With your help. Thank you.
No, you have my help. What's happening up there is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Billions of dollars have been stolen. Billions sent back to Somalia. And Tom can solve that problem better than anybody. And you have the go-ahead, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. What do you think of this team?
This is the team that set the whole tone for this country back in 1980. It was the beginning of the great comeback, which, by the way, Donald J. Trump was the next beginning of the great comeback. So it's perfect that it's both you and this great team from 1980.
Thank you, Tom. You're doing a fantastic job. Really a great leader. We appreciate it, friend. And Jackie is you have a great spouse.
Remember, that's her favorite.
That's true. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And Elise, everybody knows Elise. She's doing phenomenally well. A really tremendous congresswoman, and she's running for a little position called governor of New York, and she's got a hell of a shot at it. That's all I can see. I see polls that look very good, and we could use you in New York. She's got a little competition and with a very good Republican, but she's a great Republican. So we'll see what happens, but Elise is respected by everybody, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. As the representative for Lake Placid, this is so meaningful to my constituents, and we are home of the Miracle on Ice, and it's wonderful to be here with these teammates who just stood so proudly for Team USA.
Thank you. Thank you, Elise. Thank you. Please.
My name is Dan Brooks. I'm the son of Coach Herb Brooks. It's an honor to be here, Mr. President. My dad, he believed. He believed in the American hockey player. He believed in his country. He loved this team. He loved his country. I wish he was here. But it's an honor for me to represent him. So thank you for having me.
Well, your father was a great guy. I knew him a little bit, and he was an amazing coach. What he did was just incredible.
He was tough, but fair.
He was tough? Was he tough on you? Yeah.
I lived with him for 20 years.
But good. I was saying, my father was tough too. My father was tough, but good.
Yeah.
All right? They were good people. Thank you very much.
It was an honor to be his son.
Thank you very much. Yep. He'd be very proud of you right now.
Rob McClanahan from Minnesota. I'm just echoing everybody else's words. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be a teammate of this great team. It's all about we, and we're great teammates.
Yeah. That was really a perfect case of it.
Yep.
That team was a perfect case. Please.
I'm honored to be here. I'm representing my brother Mark, who died in 2024. I know he's looking down with a big smile on his face.
Great player.
Yeah, and I'm sure I am honored, and I know he would be too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Trump, Dave Christian from Warwood, Minnesota, Hockeytown, USA.
Is it still? Is it?
It still is. But it's a privilege and an honor to be here with the greatest teammates anyone could have.
Thank you very much. Great honor. Great job.
Mr. President, Mike Ramsey, I'm also from Minnesota, and Minneapolis. It's not Hockeytown, Minnesota. It's an honor to be here with my teammates and you. This is awesome. Thank you.
Great to have you. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, Steve Janaszak, also from Minnesota, White Bear Lake, Minnesota. It's not as big as it sounds. I backed up Jimmy Craig, and I want to thank all you guys for the job that you did. Pleasure to be a part of this team, and luckiest guy on this team.
Yeah. Jimmy Craig was pretty good, right?
I know goaltending, and he did an awesome job.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you.
Wow, I didn't know he had to talk.
What do you think, Phil?
speechless, of course, but I'm Phil Burkota, originally from Duluth, Minnesota, and certainly, like all the other gentlemen here, we're having a wonderful, wonderful day, and just seeing the history of Washington, D.C., and the invitation and the award is beyond what I can imagine.
Well, it's an honor, and so many people from Minnesota. That's something. Good hockey blood, huh?
Oh yeah.
No, so many people. A lot of the team. Congratulations. And Minnesota's going to be back, right?
It better be back.
Going to be back. Going to be back. You got a little bad governor up there, a couple of other little problems, but it's going to be back. And unbelievable people in Minnesota. 45 years ago, this tremendous group of collegiate players and amateurs faced overwhelming odds against the Soviet Union in Lake Placid Winter Olympics. They said it was the greatest team ever put together, the Soviet team. They weren't saying that about you, but you were damn good. And they were saying that team was unbeatable. The same month, the USSR's hockey team had crushed our squad. They did an exhibition game of some kind, and it was not pretty, 10-3. And people were not even looking forward to this game, fellas, I hate to tell you. They liked it. That last 10 minutes were not fun. The Soviets had not lost an Olympic game since 1968, and they were coming off a 4 straight gold record, gold medals. In 64, they won the gold, 68, 72, and 76. Other than that, they weren't that good, right? They were great. And this was supposed to be the best team that they ever had. So it wasn't looking too sharp for our great champions behind me. As one American sports writer put it at the time, the whole world expected the Soviets to win, quote, unless the ice melts. So that wasn't a very good statement. But then it began. Despite the long odds, the Team USA blazed through the group stage, meaning other countries went through them pretty easily, advancing to a long-awaited rematch against the USSR. 3 times we went down by a goal. For most of the game, they were down by a goal 3 times, and then remarkable players put America back on top where we always wanted to be. Buzz Schneider, he scored the opening goal, and that's a big slap shot. How the hell did that happen? Was their goal? I thought they had a good goal.
They did have a good goalie. The pass came across the ice. I caught him going the other way.
It just happened, right? Miracle, they call it. Thank you. That's a long one, right? That doesn't. How often does a 50-foot shot go in? Not too much, right? Huh? That one. Well, you have a little extra power. You're strong. You were a strong guy. That's something. That puck was hit. We have a puck here. Does this mean anything, or is this something you just gave me?
I gave the FBI hockey pucks to the
well,
team.
that's good. Well, that's nice. I'll put it here on top of a piece of gold. In the second period, Jim Craig withstood a barrage of shots on goal and kept the dream alive. That's the guy, right? And then after a goal from team captain Mike Eruzione, who's a fantastic guy, and I know him from outside of hockey. We played golf. We were on a golf team together, and we happened to win, right?
We did, sir.
We won.
Yes, we did.
I liked my partner very much. But he put us up 4-3 midway through the third. These fighters held on to the longest 10 minutes of their lives. They call it the longest, most horrendous, scariest 10 minutes. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Because you couldn't believe that you were there, right? And they're leading by 1, and they got 10 minutes, and just please. Did anybody pray? Were you praying?
Doing everything.
I don't know. Did you have time to pray? I don't think you had a lot of time.
You just had to go out and play.
They're religious guys, but they didn't have a lot of time to pray. They were out on the edge. But to win one of the greatest comebacks in sports history really was amazing. The observers in the arena noted it was the first time in his life that he heard the chant USA, 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 which I don't like hearing because I tell people that had to do with Trump in 2016, slightly after your big win, but no longer. That's the end of that, right? I can't use that one anymore. But I do remember them doing that exactly. For a long time they were doing that. This team united us and they inspired us. The United States was like brought to a level of sports that they've never seen.
and they brought us Olympic glory that we celebrate to this day. Nobody thought it was possible. It really shows that, anything's possible. Nobody thought that one was possible, but I want to congratulate you all, and now I'd like to invite Mike to say a few words, and then Congressman Stauber, who introduced, and then we're going to speak from a couple of other people. And I have to tell you, our leader, I have to say that Emmer is a very special leader, and I want you to maybe wrap it up and say something on behalf of your great state in particular, the country, but your great state in particular, okay? So let's go, Mike.
Just again, Mr. President, to reiterate what we've all talked about, this is an absolutely incredible honor. I've said this before. When you put a USA jersey on, you're playing for your country. You're not playing for your state, your town, or your city. And what an honor it was for us to put that jersey on and accomplish what we accomplished. I've always said the gold medal is something that's incredible, but this is the frosting on the cake. To receive an award like this, an honor like this, maybe this is it, guys. I don't think there's anything else we can get.
There's nothing else.
This is just incredible.
There's nothing else.
No, this is it, and thank you for making this happen.
Great, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Pete?
Yeah. Mr. President, thank you for signing this piece of legislation. I first want to say, on behalf of Congress, I want to thank Lee Stefanik and Tom Emmer for being co-sponsors of this piece of legislation. I also want to thank my staff. Ali Esau in my office did a tremendous job getting this, to be able to pass the House and the Senate. I want to thank my staff. And Mr. President, it was 45 years ago, Friday, February 22nd, 1980, that the game of hockey changed. It was a 5 p.m. game. It was tape delayed. Those of us that were hockey players back then, this was a game changer. We couldn't find that USA jersey anywhere. It was sold out wherever it was. And so I'm very proud to have led this, and I would be remiss if I didn't introduce my younger brother Rob, who was he was a gold medal coach for the 2018 Women's Olympic gold medal team in Pyeongchang, and Robbie's right over there.
Hi, Rob. Nice seeing you.
So, Mr. President, I will just say that I'm in awe of these hockey heroes, and as we move forward, they changed the game of hockey. It was a powerful, dominant performance that this country needed. They beat the powerhouse Soviets, and as you know, you're continuing to do that today, and this was a great start of it. And for me, I'm very just privileged and proud to stand with these Olympic heroes that literally changed a nation and gave us the strength that we needed at the time our nation needed it. And to know these men here, they're humble, the humility is through the roof. And I just want to thank you for signing this. This means a lot to me personally, but it means more to the team. When I talked to him this afternoon, as Mike just said, it's the cherry on top of what they did for this country. And thank you for signing it, and I appreciate it.
Well, we love it, and he was a really great hockey player too. So let me ask you a question: was your brother in this category of hockey player, or slightly less?
You want to answer that?
See, he was smart.
He was better than he was better than me. Robbie was a goaltender in the National Hockey League as well. So
wow, that's pretty good.
He was
Boy,
much better than me.
That's a lot of good genetics in this whole thing. But you were a hell of a player too.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Pete. So
we're gonna one more. Mr. President, we would like to do one more thing.
Oh, sure.
Take a photo with our hats off.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
Fix my head.
Minnesota are used to wearing hats.
Okay.
Straighten it out.
Take a good one. You have Dan? Let's go, Dan. Get with it. Get with it, Dan. Oh, there we go. Good photography. You got a little off guard. It's a good photo. Good idea.
A little bit more.
It's not Phil.
So we're going to finish up with Tom Emmer, and he's been just a fantastic congressman, leader, person from Minnesota. Loves that state. Boy, do you love that state, and they love you equally as much. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I got to thank Pete Stauber as he's talking about humility. Pete Stauber actually was in the White House as a national championship captain of a national championship hockey team back in the 1980s.
Not bad.
This runs in the blood in Minnesota. This runs in our blood in Minnesota, but it's not about Minnesota, even though I will point out most of the guys are from Minnesota, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter if it's Massachusetts, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin, wherever players came from back then, they were all Americans. That's what mattered, and they were an inspiration. And you know what it means to my state? It shows us that no matter how bad it gets, there's always a way to succeed if you're willing to try. And I think Mike Eruzione said it earlier. If you think you're going to lose, you're probably not going to win.
Right.
If you think you're going to compete and you're going to give it everything you've got, these men who are standing here and their colleagues who are not here, God bless them, those who couldn't be here and those who have departed, they reached the ultimate peak. And when they did it, as Pete pointed out, they lifted an entire country out of the ditch and set us off to an amazing several decades that followed. And it's not much unlike the 47th President of the United States. So I think it's entirely appropriate that you're doing this for these men. You're really doing it for the country. And God bless you, because Minnesota, I think, is going to experience a comeback because of you.
They're going to do it. Minnesota's going to come back. No, I'm so impressed that so many of these champions come from Minnesota. It's amazing. It's a great place. Thank you very much.
We engineered it.
Well, the best players are from Massachusetts.
I think
It starts again.
Well, thank you very much. Any questions for the? Let's go to the players first, if you could.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, it's a great honor to be in the room with all of you. I remember this game, and it had a huge impact on me. You're heroes of mine, and it's really an honor to be in this room. Mike Eruzione, I have to ask you a question. What did it mean? I realize it was the semifinal game, but what did it mean to you at the time to beat the Soviets, to beat the Soviet Union?
Well, at the time, it gave us an opportunity to play for a gold medal. People always talk about the Soviet game and the Soviet game, and I know how important the Soviet game was from a political standpoint. We didn't know it at the time, we knew it after. But if we don't beat Finland, we're not having this conversation today. We're not here. As great as the Soviet victory was, and it was an incredible victory, but if we lose to Finland, it would have been, God, if you only could have beat Finland.
What was the score?
4-2. We were losing 2-1 going into the third period.
That would have been a downer.
So
can you imagine?
We're not having this conversation. You are not inviting us to the White House. We are not receiving this honor if we don't beat Finland. So I think it speaks volumes of the team and the team that I played on to come back after such a great victory. We were ready to play Finland on Sunday. And I think, again, that's a tribute to the team and the type of players that we had. So years later, 45 years later, we realize how important that victory was against the Soviets. But I think a lot of us take great pride in knowing that we closed the deal by beating Finland.
If you didn't win that final game,
we're not here.
Nobody would.
We wouldn't have played.
You wouldn't be here. I would not have invited you. I would have said, "You got to be kidding."
Yeah, what happened to Finland?
Mike, if you drive an Uber.
It's very funny. A little truth to that. But you did win.
What's the lesson for Ukraine from this win from 45 years ago when you defeated Russian team against all odds?
Well, it's a similar situation, isn't it? Let's see what happens. We're working on seeing if we can make a deal right now. We're gonna see. We'll soon know, I guess. We're gonna see a lot of death. Last month, fellas, 25,000 soldiers were killed in Ukraine and Russia. 25,000. Can you imagine that? It's ridiculous.
Maybe we should send our team over.
If I could, you guys were a team of amateurs. What do you think about the NIL, the deals that are being made with players, and they're hopping around schools? What do you think about it? I'll get your thoughts on it.
My thoughts are I don't like it. I don't like the NIL. I don't like the portal. But that's the state of college sports today, and we have no control over that. I don't like it, and a lot of people that I've spoke to don't like it either. But we have no say.
Well, I think we maybe do have a say. I think that it's a disaster for college sports. I think it's a disaster for the Olympics because, we're losing a lot of teams. The colleges are cutting a lot of they would call them sort of the lesser sports, and they're losing them like at numbers nobody can believe. and they were really training grounds, beautiful training grounds, hard-working, wonderful young people. They were training grounds for the Olympics. And a lot of these sports that were training so well would win gold medals because of it. Those sports don't exist because they're putting all their money into football. And, by the way, they're putting too much money into football because colleges don't make, even the most successful universities don't make that much money. And you can't pay a quarterback $14 million to come out of high school. They don't even know he's going to be a very good player. I mean, they've tried a couple of times. $14 and $12 million. And a couple of deals like that, and the most successful colleges are losing money. And I think the NIL is a disaster for sports. It's horrible for the Olympics. And I think it's actually horrible for the players. And you're losing all of these great sports. They're not college football. Even basketball is being affected. Basketball second, but even basketball is being affected. They're putting all of their money in, and I know something about it. They will not be able to stop. You're going to have a college president. I'm telling you, sir, we give a guard $7 million. We're going to win the national championship, and they'll give them $7 and they won't win it. And even if they do win it, colleges cannot afford to be paying the kind of salaries that you're hearing about. And frankly, if you didn't have a very strong salary cap in sports, and even then, in professional sports, they'd all be out of business, everyone. You're going to have these colleges wipe themselves out. And something ought to be done, and I'm willing to put the federal government behind it. But if it's not done fast, you're going to wipe out colleges. They're going to get wiped out, including ones that do well in football. They can't pay $12 million, $14 million, $10 million, $6 million for players. They won't be able to stop. There'll always be that one player. If they only have that player, they're going to win the national championship. And they'll have 100 colleges thinking the same thing. Colleges cannot afford to play this game. And it's a very bad thing that's happening.
Mr. President, you talked about the Soviet Union, and I also want to ask about another country that you're targeting, which of course is Venezuela. Do you intend on seizing more oil assets from Venezuela and other tankers?
I wouldn't tell you that. I mean, it wouldn't be very smart for me to tell you that. You know, we're supposed to be a little bit secretive. You're a very big-time reporter, and I don't think I want to tell a big-time reporter or a small-time reporter that. But we are knocking out drugs at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water, and nobody can figure out who the 4%. I wouldn't want to be the 4% either, but 96% of the drugs coming in by water. Every one of those boats you see get shot down, you just saved 25,000 American lives. But we knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water. And now we're starting by land. And by land is a lot easier. And that's going to start happening. And we're not going to have people destroying our youth, destroying our families. Forget about youth, everybody. You ever see a family with the fentanyl or cocaine? Colombia has at least 3 cocaine factories. That's a different country. We're not happy about it, but we're stopping it. And we've stopped it now on water. You don't even find boats on water. You don't even see fishing boats on water. You want to go fishing in that area? Does anybody want to go fishing in that area? I don't think so. So I just want to say this. We have now a strong border. A year and a half ago, we had millions of people pouring through. Now we have nobody coming in through our border. And we have a strong country. We have a country that's respected, and we're going to keep it that way. And we're not going to let people kill 300,000 people a year with drugs.
Mr. President, can I just ask you one more follow-up question,
Yeah,
Mr.
please.
President?
The fraud that you've been pointing out, talking about in Minnesota specifically. There have been some reports resurfacing and circulating, even by your own administration, alleging Ilhan Omar's marriage to her brother. And this would be a fraudulent situation if there, in fact, is found to be fraud in a situation like that. Would you like to see her denaturalized or others who have similarly committed fraud?
Well, I think
in
she's
Minnesota?
very bad for our country. All she does is complain. She comes out of a country where they have no government, they have no military, they have no police, they got no nothing. They don't have a country. And they run around killing each other. And then she comes over here. She tells the United States of America how it should be run. We don't want to hear from her. I don't want to hear from her. I don't want to speak for Emmer, but I don't think Emmer particularly wants to hear. But don't say it because I don't want to get you in trouble, okay? Just be nice and easy, all right? I'll do it for you, Bob. That part I'll do. But I just want to say that there's nothing worse than a person that comes in and does nothing but bitch and comes from a place where she shouldn't be telling us what to do. She shouldn't be telling us, and everybody agrees with me. And what's happening in Minnesota with Somalia, where billions of dollars is being stolen, right, like candy from a baby, we're not going to let that go on. And it's too great a state to have that happening. And guys like Tom Emmer and others, Pete Stauber, guys like them, they're going to stop it. And they're going to be given the authority to stop it. Because this country is not going to put up with it anymore.
You've talked about land strikes happening soon. Is there anything at this point that can prevent that? And is the objective, if you make that decision,
Well, I don't want to say that, but it's not only land
strikes.
strikes on Venezuela. It's land strikes on horrible people that are bringing in drugs and killing our people. You know, if we were in a war and we lost 300,000 people in a year, because that's what the real number is. It's not 100. You know, you keep hearing 100. And it's a lot worse than that because the families are devastated when they lose their child. If we were in a war and we lost 200,000 or 300,000, but I think it's more than 300,000, and that's a war that's like a war that would be unparalleled. Nobody's ever seen anything like that, and that's what's happening. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in Venezuela. It's people that are bringing in drugs to our country are targets.
Mr. President, at the end of this year, those extended Obamacare subsidies expire. What's your message to those 24 million Americans who will see their insurance premiums go up?
Don't make it sound so bad because, you know, obviously you're a sycophant for Democrats. You're obviously a provider of bad news for Republicans. Let me just say something. The Republicans, I think I can speak for Tom and most other people. I think what most Republicans want to see is what I want to see. And I leave it to them, and hopefully they're going to put great legislation on this desk right here. We want to see all of the money that's been squandered and given to insurance companies because Obamacare is horrible health insurance. It's far too expensive, and it always has been. But what it really is a way of making insurance companies rich. We want the money not to be paid at all to insurance companies. You know, insurance companies have gone up 1,700% over a short, meaning the stock, 1,700% over a short period of time. And they've taken in hundreds of billions and even trillions of dollars. And we want the money to go to the people. They'll go in the form of a insurance account, healthcare account, or any other form that we can create. We have a lot of different forms. We want to give the money to the people and let the people buy their own great health care. And they'll save a lot of money, and it'll be great. Now, the problem we have is that the Republicans are not at all controlled by the insurance companies. But you know who is? The Democrats. The Democrats have received hundreds of millions of dollars. They're totally controlled by the insurance companies, so we might not get too many of their votes. But I actually think we'd get some Democrat votes. So I don't know how you feel about it, Tom, but everybody wants to see this happen. Everybody. I put it out, and all of a sudden, we've taken over in a positive way. The Republicans have taken over health care in a positive way. I want to see the billions of dollars go to the people, not to the insurance companies. And I want to see the people go out and buy themselves great health care. Much better health care at very little cost. That's what I want. And it's so simple.
Mr. President, me too. A follow-up on that. Many congressional Republicans have said they won't vote for an Obamacare extension deal if it includes funding for abortion. Would you assure those Republicans that you will not propose?
Well, we're going to look into it. We're going to look into a lot of things. That's one of many factors. But what we do want to see is we want to see the money go to the people, not to the insurance companies. No, wait. You have to be nice and easy. Nice and easy. She's very aggressive. Okay, please.
Thanks, Mr. President. Can you tell us how this free economic zone would work in the Donbass and in land that the Russians took by force?
Well, I don't want to do that now. It's a very complex situation, but it would work, and a lot of people want to see it work. And all I want to do is I want to stop the death of 25,000 people a month. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. There were new Epstein photos released today showing you and also Bill Clinton, Steve Bannon. What were your reaction to those new photos that were released
Well,
today?
I haven't seen it, but I mean, everybody knew this man. He was all over Palm Beach. He has photos with everybody. I mean, almost There are hundreds and hundreds of people that have photos with him, so that's no big deal. I know nothing about it.
How big a role do you want to personally play in the decision by the Fed on interest rates?
Well, you know, I've made a lot of money. I've been very successful, and I think my role should be at least that of recommending. They don't have to follow what I say, but we're going to be choosing a new Fed person in the pretty near future. But they went out, you know, they went out with 71 different people, all economists and Trump. I was 71. And of the 71 people, I got it right, and one other person, I think from the Wharton School of Finance, my alma mater, got it right. There were 2 people that got it right out of 7, but I was one of them. So I think I certainly should have a role in talking to whoever the head of the Fed is, or the Fed. I don't think that, you know, in the old days that used to happen. Nowadays it's sort of, they think it shouldn't happen. But I've done great. I've made a lot of money. I've been very successful. I think my voice should be heard. But I'm not going to make the decision based on that. I'll be making a decision over the next few weeks. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. Thank you, press. Let's go. Let's go. Head out. Thank you.
If you join,
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would love that job. I'd like to apply to be the person to kick the press out. That would be like awesome. Well, if you don't know the significance of what some people believe about the white hats, you might want to dig into that, because oh my, is it, everybody's talking about it. The other thing you probably didn't know is that there were 16 guys wearing the white hat. Then they handed it to Trump, and he was the 17th guy wearing the white hat. And then I actually wrote down here on my trusted notes of everything I showed you, which I did not know he was going to talk about. I don't get communications from the White House to say, hey, here's the agenda. But I talked a lot about Minnesota today, and most of those guys were from Minnesota. And he turned to Tom Emmer, who is a congressman from Minnesota, and he goes, you're going to fix it. I've given you the green light. Whatever that means. Whatever that means. I found that to be extremely interesting. There's a lot coming, people. I'm not going to keep going because I can't top what we just saw. That if you haven't seen enough today, if you haven't seen all the fraud, the theft, the messaging, the winks, the nods of everything that you've seen today, and the billions that these people have stolen, and you don't think something's coming in 2026, I can't help you. I can't, and I won't. Because that's not my job to give you and convince you of what you should be able to see with your own eyes. But if you think Pam Bondi's not going to do anything, nothing I can do. Oh, by the way, did you find it odd that Kash Patel was there? Why would the director of the FBI had been there? I don't know. Weird things happening on a Friday night. Weird things. And why do I think it's not over? Why do I think that something else is probably going to drop before the end of the night? We shall see. But I'm pumped. I am absolutely pumped. I know there's a lot of people in college sports right now who probably have to get their depends checked, because it sounds like he wants to do away with NIL, which I don't really have a problem with NIL, except it's only gonna go to the kids at the top, the cream of the crop. Everybody else gets nothing. Well, that's the only problem. But then again, life's not fair. So be a capitalist like a Somali. Make money like a Somalian. That's what we should be all saying. Make money like a Somalian. Socialism. Yeah, right. All right, let me do some super chats and then the after party, and you guys can go enjoy your Friday evening. Nathan Hardcastle, I was wondering if you had received a parcel I mailed you. It's about Heroes Haven. I go to my mail drop on Saturday mornings. I have my little route that I go, and I do my different things, and it's like Barry's Day Out. I don't have a video, especially now during Christmas season. There won't be a video tomorrow unless, let me just explain that. Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock. Today got pushed because of President Trump. I could have pushed it to like 6 because he didn't come out. But anyway, somebody asked me what happened to 12 o'clock. Well, Trump happened at 12 o'clock. He pushed something back. But Monday through Friday, I was religious. We went on at 12 o'clock every single day. And then at night, we did some shows. And then Saturday and Sunday during the holiday season, no shows. I may have some clip videos that I put up, some video on demand stuff if anybody misses it. But I don't plan on going live on Saturday and Sunday until after the new year. But if something happens, I should go live. But anyway, I will be going tomorrow to the mailbox and checking things in that regard. Midwest Mom. Many of those players were from Roselle, Minnesota, just north of where I grew up and live. I listened to the Miracle on Ice live on the radio. I was watching it with Al Michaels. Fakowski, yes, Barry, I'm on the station already. Fakowski says, last night I was very upset about Indiana Republicans. Today I want no tax on cat food, wife said. Buddy Sanders, my wife got a tattoo like Fisher girls to hide birthing marks. Okay. Roger Gardner, yes, promote Trump more. We also need to promote you and your show. Thank you. How can we all help? Just by coming. Just by coming. But it means everything to me that you guys show up because I know you have many options out there. So thank you. Go MAGA. Thank you very much. Thomas Stanton, Barry, when are Rep going to do as Democrats? Give it, just, you're seeing something happen. If you don't, there's no way we could be getting these disclosures without something happening. Period. There's no way they would be showing you. Remember, we have to show them, we just can't tell them. They're showing you undisputable truth that these people have stolen money from you. So, I think the next stage is, well, you'll wait for it. Lakowski, her story is similar to mine, except mine happened in 1982. Glad that I'm here. Well, what? Lakowski, all this in Europe looked the same. The only option was discriminate other nationality. Midwest Mom, you're incorrect, Barry. She married her brother to bring him into the country. I said that. Oh, you're saying that she did not have conjugality. You're saying that she didn't have incest. And I would ask you, how do you know? And you could turn around and say, Barry, you don't either. But then again, I never married my sister. So if you're willing to marry a sibling, who knows what else you're doing? You know they do some crazy stuff over there. So I don't know if I'm incorrect, and you don't either. Look at the flag. That flag, in case you didn't notice, behind Tim Waltz, there was American, and then the other one was the new Samala soda. You're right. Vielka. There is currently civil war in UK today. It's here too. Don't deny it. We're here. Fakowski, let's copy the French Revolution solutions. Swinging. Chio shops. 99% of the people brought here were put on welfare immediately so they can also get on the voter rolls. The cartels were collecting the Dems' portion. Yeah. Barry, this is astonishing but not surprising as Somali IQ is normally around between 68 and 80. I was saying 80, 90. There's something very sinister about what happened. G. Fisher, we all know, including Trump, that Waltz and Omar were 110% involved. Do you think they will be charged federally so they actually serve hard time? Yes. Because I think the documentation I don't think he's wasting Scott Besson's work. Scott Besson is digging in financially. He's going to be a financial autopsy on all this stuff. Mr. Fisher, I would bet some large coin that those two Dem politicians taken out in Minnesota a few months ago were about to spill some beans. Yep, remember that? That kind of got quieted. The Minnesota couple opened a door. I think it was 2 different shootings. I mean, that was pretty bad. Buddy Sanders, thanks for hanging in. Yeah, that's twice now where I was almost ready to sign off, and then, poof, he comes on. Maybe he's watching the show. I could say that. QAnon, the White Hats Guardians. There's no such thing as QAnon. Media created that. Dig in. I wonder how much, Nikki, I wonder how much of a freakout session Tampon Tim is going to have after this. I think the freakout session already began. You could see it in his face. He was terrified. Aaron, Barry, appreciate all your hard work and taking the time to bring us all these awesome press conferences above and beyond the rest. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Fume Drummer, if I was player there, Donald, I'd give you $5 for a picture of you and me in front of the Reagan portrait. I'd want mine in front of Andrew Jackson, for sure. All right, and I know I threw a lot of information at you guys today, and it might take some time to digest all of that, but I want you to have a great weekend. Open your eyes, see what's going on. There's so much stuff. It's Friday at 6 o'clock. I didn't know we would be here this long, but enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend. I may talk to you tomorrow if something breaks, and if not, I'll talk to you on Monday morning. We're going to have the prayer meeting. So right now, plan on Monday morning, but if something happens, you might see my mug on live here again. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in a fields where they lay, it's seen of old. When with the ever-circling years shall come the time foretold, when man new heaven and earth shall own the Prince of Peace, their King, and the whole world send back the song which now the angels sing. receive her King. Let every heart prepare in room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Thee to stay close by me forever.